Okay, now we're actually live. What's going on Twitch and hopefully YouTube? Why is Pop frozen? Technical difficulties right off the rip. Let's try take two. Oh, now we got a green box.
What is happening? This is amazing.
Oh, this sounds like robots speak. Oh shit! Wait, dude, is your internet taking a dookie? Dude, that's so weird. You hear that, right, Mike?
Yeah.
I feel like I hear Mike.
What the fuck? Oh.
Fucking robots. We good?
I just started it back up.
Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, I'm good
All
now.
right.
Must have been you, man. Making us all robots. Make me think I'm crazy. Almost broke me right there. Jesus. My heart hurts. Are we still live? Welcome to the first ever, last time, once in a lifetime podcast experience brought to you from space. Boop, 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 bop.
Let's play. I'm gonna play the music again.
All right.
Take two. I think that might be having something to do with with why the video is so screwy, and I don't know why I'm leaning into the microphone. That's a rookie mistake. Sorry about that.
Oh, maybe that.
Please,
Yes.
I will go jump off a bridge.
All right. Mark, your job is to make the mouth sounds, okay?
The mouth sounds that I will make will be vomiting into my own lap.
The wetter, the better.
Merry Christmas.
You filthy animals.
Hey, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Who's got the squeaky chair? All of us?
Yeah.
Oh, mine's the worst.
I gotta tell you, man. I think for how we're doing this, our audio quality is pretty good. Let me try and be professional. Ready? Welcome, everybody, to what we're calling the Don't Hate the Player podcast. I think it's time to start using the actual name. It's a good name.
Sounds good.
You know. So here we go, live on Twitch with not a lot to talk about, but I think have you guys looked at the topics at all?
Indeed.
So there's some interesting things to talk about, but before we do that, I'm one of your hosts, Mark Money. Joining me, as always, is my two good buddies, Killer Metal Mike, Pop That Baby Maker. As you can tell, we all have a bit of our real names in the online monikers. You know, I'm Mark, that's
I'm
Mike, and that's Pop.
Pop.
He is legally named Pop.
Yep.
When we first met, I thought for the longest time it was legally Baby Maker.
Yeah.
My mistake.
It's not a name. I like to look at it. It's not a name. It's like a lifestyle. you
Yeah,
know?
Pop That Baby
It's a
Maker
choice.
is like something that...
I was born this way. You know.
Hold on.
Oh, he's
That's
reaching
not
for
very
something.
professional. I was going to say, for a limited time only, you can get Pop That Baby Maker bracelets. I've got one.
Oh.
Shit.
I think it's in the bedroom. Yeah.
But yeah.
I was rocking it the other day because I don't really wear white shirts too often.
Mhm.
And I was wearing a white shirt, and I found the white wristband crispy, sealed. That shit was still sealed.
Sealed.
I busted
I
it
watched
open
that.
on stream, and I used the plastic and crinkled it into the microphone so that Mike could feel like he was sitting next to a cozy fire at home, but really it sounded like he was in a burning building.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
I was at work at the time, so it was just so comforting hearing the flames crackle over everything.
Hey,
It was beautiful.
That's an interesting thing to have on Twitch.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's a great thing.
I was
to
doing
call.
I was doing a cooking stream earlier.
Were you?
Yeah,
I must have missed that one.
you
I'll
did.
check the VODs.
I was on Beam. Sorry, Mixer.
Oh, trying to get that cross sponsorship. Of course, my mistake.
So before we get into the news, by the way, our little podcast that we're doing here is not really a source for news. I mean, it is in a way, but I'd like to think that going into the new year, if we're gonna keep, are we gonna keep doing this, guys?
Yeah.
Into the new year,
Yeah.
yeah. I think what you're gonna see from this show is just our more of an emotional response to the state of gaming, and not like we're gonna break down and cry, but like
We might though. We
We
might.
might.
I would not like to read too much from a script if that gets the point across. You know what I mean? Like there is no script here, and we're just kind of talking about stuff. So we're gonna go through our basic guideline of the show and where it goes. Like last week was really fun. I think we had a good time talking. Fortunately, Pop wasn't there, but
Yep.
we got into this crazy rant at the end of it about where were we going? It was Mike, refresh my memory. We were talking
God.
about
The end of the yeah. We did a long one.
It went
too.
off
was
on a tangent.
2.5.
Look, it's okay, guys.
no, it's 3.5 hours.
You're
Three?
getting up there.
Oh,
it's hard
shit.
to remember. I
It
know.
is. Every day gets harder. Every day.
Who am I? How do I get home? My girlfriend
this where
always
I
makes
live?
fun of me. She always laughs at me for that because I'll be like, "Oh man, my back hurts," and then what she does is she does the voice from Happy Gilmore when the little old lady is sewing the quilt, and she's like, "My fingers hurt." So anytime like something hurts on me, it's like, my back hurts. Like I didn't know where we were one day, and what I was trying to say was put some directions into the GPS. I'm like, I don't know how to get home, and she's like, I'm lost. I don't know where my house is.
Do you know where my children are?
I was watching this great video. We're going off on a tangent already, but it was Mike Judge doing, the creator of Beavis and Butthead. He was like telling where he got the inspiration to do the voices from, and he was doing, the old dude who kind of like sounds like Hank Hill eventually sounded like.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, my brother and I had this paper route, and we were like the new paper boys, and this one guy was like, you're not my paper boy. Like he's like, oh yeah, no, that guy quit. We're like the new paper boys. He's like, well, I know what my paper boy looks like, and you ain't him. Just like imagine this guy. He's like, well, do you want the paper? Because like if you don't pay, then we're gonna have to cancel your subscription. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get my newspaper when the real paper boy brings it to me. Yo, I was fucking
Can you
cracking
imagine
up.
running into that guy? Like as a little kid trying to deliver papers? Just being like,
Probably light your newspaper on
Okay.
fire, motherfucker. How about that? Now you get no news. But this is is that how we full circle? This is not a news podcast. We're just reacting to it.
that's it.
I've
That's all
got
they can ask for.
while I pull the topics up, have you guys been playing anything, or what's your game life been looking like?
So this week I played some
Overwatch.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Well, they have a winter event going on right now. So if you get 9 wins of quick play, competitive, or arcade mode, then they give you bonus things, which most are stupid, but the end one, if you get all 9, is usually a skin. So instead of like making you pay to potentially get a skin or get coins to then buy a skin, they're just going to say, hey, if you play this game enough that you get 9 wins, we'll give it to you.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool. So I've been trying to grind those out to actually get the skins because I've invested $0 into this thing since I started, other than my time. So I
But
did that.
you do pay for the game, right? You buy it outright when
Yeah,
yeah,
Yep.
It's not a free to play.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just being clear on that.
Yep.
Overwatch, and so that's what you've been focusing on, trying to get the skins.
Yeah. So I've just been playing that to try and get the skins, and then I played a lot more than I really wanted to. Days Before Christmas.
Oh, right, for the video. Are we
Because
still
that
going to get a new
is
video?
coming. It's coming. I'm still
Ooh.
fingers crossed by
Christmas Eve. Okay.
So,
All right.
so I got a few more days here to finish up the end of the editing. So
Wait,
Shameless
I
plug. Go
also-
follow A Warp in Time on YouTube. Everybody, give
Yeah,
Mike your
for sure.
subscription. Mike and his boy on Christmas.
me and
It'd
my
be
kid.
the best Christmas gift you can give to a child and
Building
his
his
son. Get that?
yeah.
See what I did there?
So I've been playing a bunch of that, and I went through all my Super Nintendo games that I got and did some more cleaning.
I saw you
boy.
doing it. I was out today when you did your live stream, but I saw
Yep.
something pop up. Pop, you're
Yeah.
smirking over there. Well, you look like you
Yeah.
got something to say.
Well, no, my first thing is like, I got to get my weekly update. Did Mike hear back from Limited Run Games?
Yes. I
Oh,
did get a
shit.
Oh,
response
finally. Oh,
on
shit.
Twitter.
Okay.
I
Yes,
stopped
so to
checking
catch
your Twitter.
everybody up- Yeah, so to catch everybody up,
Yeah,
I
let's hear
sent a
this.
thing to Limited Run Games, who are coming out with a Jane Silent Bob game for the NES. It's called Jane Silent Bob Mall Brawl.
Mall, bro.
Constantly, I see Limited Run Games in my Instagram, my Twitter, all over the intrawebs, getting in my Google ads and whatnot, telling me, hey, come buy this new thing. Check out this new thing we're coming out with. Check out this new thing we're coming out with. Pre-order now. Then we heard that horror story about that guy that had a really bad time with the customer service and got blacklisted.
Oh, because of his
When we were
meme.
talking about that. Yeah.
yeah.
Pop said that you had a
Yeah, I refuse to
Less
buy
than-
from them anymore
yeah.
Oh,
because of
So-
my experience with their customer service. They're just so
Yeah.
I find this scenario very interesting.
Exactly. So I may have gone into it with a cynical approach to begin with.
You
but
did.
To
If
be
I know
fair,
you.
when I went into this, pre-ordering this game, I was told it was going to be shipped week 1 of December 2019 to make it in time for the holidays. Now the updated information on the website. Shut up.
I mean,
Now the updated information on the website says that it's going to ship Q1 of 2020 with no date, just Q1.
I'd like
Which
to
is
now I
one
have-
is like January, February, and March.
just
So-
a little
I have a
asterisk
3-month window.
on your story. Just
Yep.
pause for 1 second. I remember when you telling me that you ordered this. Like you had this grand plan that you were going to go to like a meet and greet.
Yeah,
With-
because Kevin Smith is coming with his movie. Because as much as I don't agree with the way he released his movie,
He did like a road show, right?
Yeah, he's taking it on tour to show it as like a show before it gets released. I imagine in bigger fashion, seeking more money.
Yeah.
But he's doing a road show, and he's going to be here in Connecticut in February. And now I don't even know if I'll have the game by February, whereas I was supposed to have it 2 months prior to February.
So so to get
I
back
took to Twitter.
Yeah, you took to Twitter. Was that the place where people go to either complain or have no, you just went silent for a
Nope.
second. I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I reached out to Limited Run in the fashion that I reach out to all companies that I really want to say something to on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right, you bring
So-
you bring that shit public.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know. Hey, I got a question, and
Do
you
you-
better have a good answer.
Right. Twitter.
So, yeah. So I reached out and I said, hey, any news on Jane Silent Bob Mall Brawl? You know, it's supposed to be out week 1 of December, and I haven't heard anything, but you're pushing a lot of pre-orders on other stuff. So, what's going on? No response. So, like a week later, I decided, all right, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to harass these guys every day until I finally get a response. So for I think it was 3 days straight, I just took to Twitter and just went on there with the same message every day. Any news on Jane Silent Bob Mall Brawl?
No,
Tag them.
They're gonna ban
Tag
you.
their support. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for it now. Tag them. Tag their support. Finally, 3 days in, I get a response. So they reach out to me and they say, "Hey, Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl is coming Q1 of 2020," which clearly states on the website, so I responded to their response with, "Yeah, I can read and I know how to use the internet.
Mhm.
I was looking for more news. Like when?" Because again, it was supposed to be out week 1 of December.
Yeah.
No response.
Yeah, and they
So now I'm thinking about going back and looking for a date and harassing them some more, to the point where either they give me the damn game and I go away, or they cancel it, and my first and only attempt to purchase a game from Limited Run Games will put a huge black mark on their name.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. If they just go, which they do, they're usually, I feel like, pretty good with being like going to social media or their own website or their blog or whatever and Reddit and this and that and saying there's been like a hiccup in production and the game's now being pushed back. Like if they said that, you don't need to ask any questions. You've got an answer before you ask a question. You've got an answer to a question you didn't even know you were going to have, right? Because they warned you that it's going to be late, but they didn't do that, did they?
No.
No. So what did they
There was-
expect? I feel like they might just be getting a little too big for their britches, and only in the context of talking about this, like you went from a very small company to now you're the place to go to get digital only games on physical media. Like there's other places to go,
Yep.
but they don't do limited run games numbers. So, but we know that you have a PR person, and when we're kids, PR person sounds like this big fancy, like glamorous job, which I'm sure it was to some degree. But now it's just a guy on Twitter or a girl on Twitter.
Yep.
How hard is it to go? I mean, I know you probably got a lot of bullshit, people trolling and this and that, but somebody with a genuine question, just answer the question. Like if the question is just where's the game? Like when's it coming out? Or
Right.
if you don't know when it's coming out, why don't you know? And then if you say
Right.
like production issues and blah 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 and take it seriously, then you're not going to have somebody on their podcast or anywhere talking about how your company sucks. Like
Yes.
I personally only had like really good experiences with them, but one thing that they are consistent about is taking their sweet time to
Right.
send you something that they take your money for immediately.
Yes.
So,
And that's just it. Like they've had my money for months. So
and I understand
Now-
you need some money to make the game. That's fine. But
sure.
like I actually wanted to talk about the just a topic last week, but we didn't get to it. That the Square Enix thing about how they were taking people's money
Yeah.
for pre-orders. Did we talk about that at all? Was
We
that 2
talked
weeks
about the
ago?
week Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. But it's the same type of thing. Like, do one or the other. But like, if you're gonna take the money right up front, then you need to have like a solid. I mean, it's not even that. You just got to be transparent. If you're having issues with production, say you're having issues with production. Don't make people wait and wonder.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what the blog is. Did you check? Like, in all fairness, did you check Limited Run's blog?
Their blog?
Yeah, they have a blog like from their own website where I think that's where all news goes first.
No.
But
I did not.
So
like, to
maybe
be
there's
fair,
nothing
though,
there. I don't know.
To be fair,
I'm
though,
not trying to
like,
stick up for them, by the way. Go ahead,
yeah.
Pop. Sorry.
when I had my issue, they weren't even doing what they're doing now, where it's like this was supposed to be their answer. So like when I ordered Golf Story, right, it was just like you paid upfront and they didn't even tell you when it was going to ship or how long it was supposed to, like they just didn't tell you. It was just if you wanted to know, you would go to the order page on their website and it would have a status saying, shipped or
Fulfilled, unfulfilled, in
Fulfilled, yeah,
production,
exactly.
on deck, all
Yep.
sorts of.
And-
Yeah, I bought enough from Limited Run, unfortunately.
And like I had that problem where it literally took like I think like 7 or 8 months for me to get Golf Story.
Yeah,
Which
I
is,
waited
like,
for a long time.
That's insane. And like I think like 4 or 5 months into it, they updated their website and said that they're having production issues and stuff. And it's like whatever. But like this was supposed to be their answer. Their answer was like, "Hey, we realized we've been having problems, so now we're going to be super transparent. Like we're gonna post when we think it's going to ship. If there's any problems, like we'll let you know. Like we'll keep you updated as the process is going. And so it was like I kind of after Gulf Story, I had kind of decided that I wasn't gonna buy anything from them anymore. And then when they did that, I was like, okay, like maybe if they have something I really want, I'll give them a second chance. But like based off of this, it seems like really nothing's changed except for the fact that they're putting out like a random date and then not even like
That's
following what they said they were going to do. It's
That's
just
my
kind of like,
experience, I think, to a T when it came, like, just the overall feeling. Like, again, I buy the stuff, I know that they're not going to send it right away, so I don't get my expectations up. But, like, with the Jack and Daxter collector's editions, like, I saw people were getting theirs way before me. And the only reason is because I was on limited run games that day to try and secure a copy of Headlander for PS4, that cool Adult Swim game that actually plays kind of like Puppeteer.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. And I got it, and they were like, oh, a super special secret fucking, surprise title is available today. Like, there was no mention of it on social media. You just had to be there and see it. And I was there, and I was there to see it's a Jack and Daxter collector's edition available right now. It's the PS2 game on a PS4 disc. Like, no remaster, no, but with the statue, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this. So I bought it, but it was also with my Headlander game. So my collector's edition didn't ship until Headlander was ready to go, and Headlander had production trouble. So it's just like, that's the type of shit, like, okay, I paid your $5 stupid ass flat rate for everything that you charge for everything for shipping. I hate that too when I buy two things on their website. Like, I'm there to get this. I want to get it before it gets sold out. But now I got it, and now I'm shopping on your website. Oh, this is still available. I want to get this as well. You're gonna make me pay the shipping charge again and send them in separate packages? No. Like, we're about to be in 2020. Like, you got to fix that one. That one's like a courtesy to your loyal, very loyal. This is the thing about these customers. Most of them are returning customers. Why? And I hear so many stories. It's actually kind of mind-boggling to me how many people I hear say, I'm absolutely fucking done with limited run. But it only takes one time. You only need to have one bad experience to be like, I'm swearing off this shit forever. Like, the same thing goes on Twitch. As soon as a streamer says one thing that you don't like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not fucking watching you anymore. You know what I mean? Like, but when you don't give a shit, it's hard to give a shit.
When you're dealing with such a fickle audience.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very curated.
Do as much as you can.
Yeah, to be accommodating.
Look, if you put a date on the website and say this is when it's going to be out, and then you can't hit that date, I feel like it's your responsibility to at least inform those people that, look, this date isn't going to be hit. We will let you know when we figure it out, or here's some options as to what you can do. Maybe instead offer me my money back.
Right.
Maybe I needed that game for Christmas as a gift, and now it's not going to show up. I don't need that game anymore.
Yeah. Christmas came and went, and you ruined it, motherfucker.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they should give me options.
That's a great point, too, because it's like, if a game's supposed to ship, let's just say December 5th for whatever, and December 4th rolls around, and they know it's not like December 5th rolls around the next day, and they're like, oh, shit, we can't ship this game. Like, you knew a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week, and 2 weeks before that you weren't going to be able to ship that. And if you didn't, then you've got a way bigger issue at hand that you need to figure out
what's going on in your own house.
Right, because we're only talking about being able to communicate that.
Right.
They need to
We're not even
talk
talking about running inside.
Yeah, like the guy who started that company kind of needs to be like that dickhead boss. Like, what the fuck am I paying you guys for?
Yep.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. Just full disclaimer. This is not full disclosure. This is not Let's Hate on Limited Run podcast, but a lot of people are frustrated with that company, and I think that they could be doing something better to
Yeah, I feel like they
improve
could.
upon that.
And
Yeah.
I mean, either way, how this plays out, I'm not gonna give up the Jay and Silent Bob game on the NES. I mean,
But yeah, you
who
want
else is
that.
gonna have that? eBay?
Well, apparently nobody.
Well,
Nobody will
not
ever
until
have that.
Q1 at some point.
You're gonna
until
have
they
to
change it to
go
Q2.
find the ROM dump, and
Yeah.
then put it on your own copy of like Ice Hockey for NES, and then spray paint it green.
There we go.
And that's the only way
I
you're gonna
bet
get
you.
that.
I bet you that I could stay with Limited Run on their, social media and figure out when people are receiving that game and find the ROM online before I actually get my copy from Limited Run.
I bet you if you look hard enough, you could find the ROM now. You just gotta go to
Probably.
the deep web.
The deep, deep web.
And here's the disclaimer. I'm not telling anybody to do that either. or I am. Who cares? So 26 minutes later into our intro, and some technical difficulties in the beginning, I've been playing God of War still. So,
Yeah,
That's good.
and I've been downloading free games on the Epic Game Store, but I figure maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. I haven't played
real
anything yet.
quick,
Go ahead.
Because I never said the games that I've been playing, and I
Oh,
think
right.
they're pretty fun.
Sorry. Yeah,
so-
26 minutes. Holy
I
shit.
know, right?
Limited
so-
run sucks.
Goddamn Limited Run.
So
Fuckers.
I dove into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Oh, wait. No, is that any good?
a week ago, and it's like a free to play. Just it started out as a mobile game, and now it's on Steam. And it's just like the regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, but online,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to buy like packs and shit, and like it's the card game but online. And I've gotten addicted to it. Like,
Oh, yeah?
I can't
Well, that's
stop
the,
playing it.
it's like, that's what like League of Legends is, right? A card game?
no,
Oh, which one am I thinking
League of
of?
Legends
What's the one that they
is
play competitive?
Hearthstone.
Oh, Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Yep.
League of Legends is what? Like a MOBA?
Yeah, League
Yeah.
of Legends and MOBA.
Shows you how little I know about any of that shit.
But yeah, so like I jumped into that, and I've been playing that a lot. It's super fun. Just
Oh, but
like,
is it like Hearthstone? The way that Hearthstone plays? Or Magic? Or
I've
something
never,
like that?
I've never played Hearthstone.
Did you ever play Pokemon?
Yeah,
no.
I mean,
I only played
all
the
the-
only card game I've ever played is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh,
Like
okay.
in person. you
Right.
know?
Okay, yeah.
I feel like, essentially all card games really just come
Yeah.
down to which card has better stats, really, right?
Yeah,
And
like
then
in
it's just
Yu-Gi-Oh,
like
there's
a mix
just
of other things you can throw into it.
yeah, in Yu-Gi-Oh,
you
there's
get-
like 3 different types of cards. There's like monster or like attack cards, right? Trap cards and spell cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of combo those, and there's rules about what you can play and what you can't play. But
The way you can play them.
yeah, exactly.
So you've got
Um,
people that played Yu-Gi-Oh, people that played Magic, people that played Pokemon, and then you had people like me who played Pogs.
Pogs, nice.
I had Pogs.
You were a pogger.
Well, and then my friend started buying my friend that I played Pogs with started buying Magic cards. And I was like, oh, I want to do that too. And I would buy them, but I never learned how to play the game. I just bought them and put them in like a binder.
That
And
was
looked at 'em.
Pokemon cards for me.
Oh, okay. That was my little brother did the Pokemon cards. And like,
Yep.
but I remember being like, this isn't for me, but I get it because of the Magic cards. But like, I didn't even get it because I still to this day don't know how to play Magic.
Yeah, me neither.
I just knew I wanted to find the Black Lotus. that was all that. It was like, ooh,
That's it, man.
$400.
Everybody wanted that holographic Charizard, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
If you didn't have one, you weren't nothing.
But I actually really liked Pogs. Anyway, what else you been playing besides Yu-Gi-Oh, Pop? Or you have something
Yeah,
else
so
to say?
I've just done that, and then I jumped into Fortnite. Is doing the they
What
did the
is
Star Wars?
What's Fortnite?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fork knife?
Never
Yeah,
heard.
Fortnite. They did a Star Wars crossover this week, which was pretty cool. There was a whole like event in game where you could go and like see it was basically just a big advertisement for the new movie. Like it was like you can go see a special scene that's like exclusive to Fortnite.
I heard about that
And then
on another podcast.
it's kind of funny because
That's the podcast. I heard it on.
stuff like there's dialogue and stuff like it's really cool the way that Fortnite does their events but so technically now Fortnite is like canon in Star Wars, which I just find
knew it.
I find amazing because like people hate it and I love it's just I love the fact that like Fortnite is now an official like it's canon in Star Wars. Like there's dialogue that happens in only in Fortnite that they reference in the like new movie. Like it is like canon. Like there's no
Yeah,
ifs,
that's
ands, or
great.
buts, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, as soon as Disney had their hands on it, you
It's
knew something
amazing.
was
This
gonna
just
happen.
this is a fine example of the power of money. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
that's what money can do to
Um,
enhance or slash ruin things.
And
However
then
you want to
just-
look at it.
One little other side note I thought was kind of funny because Mike was saying that you know he's playing Overwatch and he has to win 9 games to get like a free skin,
Hmm.
and then Fortnite's just like, hey, we're giving a free game away every day for like the next 12 days, and if you play Fortnite every day you log in, you just get free shit. Like you just pick something and it might be a free skin, free like
That's 'cause
entire like emote, like just anything. Like
they have
every
more
day.
money than God now.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
So
I
they just
love
do
it.
what they want. Oh, you want games? Here, have some free games. I forgot that
Have some
Fortnite
games.
is Epic Game Store exclusive,
Yeah.
right? That's the only way to get it.
Yep.
Well, aside
I
from
mean,
like
if you're
PS4 and
if you're on PS4, Switch, or
yeah,
mobile,
yeah,
or
right,
Xbox,
right. Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
just
on a
those
computer,
other-
just on I mean on a computer. It's not on,
on
Steam.
computer, it's Epic exclusive. Yeah.
That's great.
So
Yeah, they're
yeah.
doing big things.
That's
Good
what
for
I've been
them.
doing.
You know what I mean? Like every time I watch it being played, I'm like, this looks so fun, and it also looks like I would not be able to do it. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel when I look at it. Like what's happening? Just I don't want to go into too much of a tangent about Fortnite, but what is happening when you see these guys and they're walking up stairs as they're being built? Like, is that like a button you have to push? Like, how are you building stairs?
Yeah, so it's like that's the thing about Fortnite that like makes it different is like you can build.
Yeah, I
So,
know you
like,
can build, but
there's
like how?
keybinds that have like
Oh, okay.
so
There we
like
go.
I have it set like to my mouse buttons
Yeah.
where it's like one mouse button will be like a ramp that goes up.
Okay.
Another mouse button will be like a wall. There's like a flat piece, and then there's like a kind of like a triangle dome type piece.
How in the
so
holy hell
those
does
four-
anybody do that on mobile?
Those 4 pieces, dude, it's insane. Like I don't even know. Like, and there's some mobile players that would like shit on me if I like played them on PC. Like they would just kill me every time.
The fact that they got the crossplay to that level too is just that to
Yeah.
me. That's like what we as non-game designers or engineers or anything like that will look at a game and be like, this should all just work together. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
it happens, but it should. And it's like they actually did it.
Yeah.
That's great,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and that's
But yeah,
proof
so
that
that's
it
what I've
can
been-
work.
That's what I've been doing this week.
Awesome. So 33-minute intro. Let's get this podcast started. It is still Saturday, December 21st for 7 more minutes, and we are going to talk about some PlayStation accessories, some Xbox Series X. Puma's got some active gaming footwear. We have yet another list of best games of the decade. And a Russian internet company suing this very platform, Twitch. We are the Don't Hate the Player podcast, and here we go. Have you guys watched the little video about the DualShock 4 back button peripheral?
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
got a lot to say about this. Let's go. What do you think?
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Why? I mean, okay. So the whole thing is a button, right? That goes in underneath the DualShock and hooks up to both the jack and the little connector under there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it hooks onto that and becomes basically a 3-button programmable addition
I've got
To
the
the
video
bottom.
playing. So.
slash back of this controller, right? So the thing about this is like the same thing that I think about all of those. You see those kits that are just like little plastic levers and
The
little
scuff
extra
controllers and the
extensions.
Astro,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the Pro gaming. Yeah.
Those, I mean, if you're in super high level, like competitive play where you're still using a controller, I think that you should use the controller as the way it's intended. I mean,
Well, um,
to add like, and for PlayStation to make it like an official thing too is like from third party. I expect this kind of thing, but now you have a three-way programmable button, and then what happens when people start saying, well, if you got three extra buttons, what's not to say that we couldn't add extra features to these games? And now you're gonna like, now you create the potential for dividing gamers, whether or not you have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, the 7 tactile buttons, or now you have the 10.
okay, that's a fair point, but I think it needs to go a little further than that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I'm excited for this peripheral, and I will tell you why. But first, I want to hear what you have to say about it, Pop.
I just think like it's kind of piggybacking off of like Fortnite, what we were just talking about, right? Like the reason why this is being made is because like what you said, Mike, about games like now adding like okay, well there's 3 extra buttons, so let's add 3 extra like we're already at that point. Like Fortnite, Call of Duty, like there's so many like actions you can do in that game that like you have to double up on buttons. So like in Fortnite, for example, if you're playing on controller, like you can't shoot somebody, like aim down sight, switch weapons, and also build like at the same time because it's just too many buttons. So it's like you have to pick one or the other. And so they have like different options of like, okay, you can have a build loadout or you know, like a FPS loadout. And so like that's why this is so popular, because games like Fortnite are so popular, and people are playing Fortnite, and specifically Call of Duty is like signed with PS4. That's like where the pro level play is for Call of Duty. It's on PS4. And so like those two games specifically, like they use more actions than the controller has buttons. And at a pro level, like you need those extra buttons. And so like these third party companies that are making these controllers are just killing with sales. So it's like it's a smart business decision for PlayStation to come out with an official one, because it's like, hey, you can take your already existing PlayStation controller and spend an extra
$30.
$30 to add these 3 programmable buttons, or you can spend $140 on a brand new controller that comes with the same thing. So it's like a cheaper way to get like an already existing user base into that like market. Right. And there's like a shit ton of people that play Call of Duty and Fortnite specifically. And those are the 2 games that I can think of that like directly like promote like you should get a SCUF controller because it's better to play this way. So I think that's why they did it.
And on a pro level, like I totally get that, and making it easier to get all the functions that you need, but like on a casual level, like selling this just off the shelf to anybody, like now you're going to be online playing against the guy that has it versus the guy that doesn't. And now does it make that game fair if you can't aim down sights and change your weapon and build something, but that guy can because he spent the extra $30?
But also you're already doing that now because that person that spent an extra $140 has that controller that's doing it anyway, right? So it's like it's already out there. And then you also have the fact that like PlayStation came out with like a mouse and keyboard accessory that's like officially branded. So like I feel like the
they have that?
fairness, like there's a officially branded PlayStation like keyboard and mouse, and it's compatible. Like you know, you can plug it in and it'll play most games. So it's like I think that like especially with like the crossplay stuff, we're like almost moving past the fact that like, you know, like this person's going to have an advantage because they're using this subset of stuff. And then like what I would say too is like you like from a casual to like pro level, like one thing that, and like I said, I think a lot of this has to do with like, I know like people don't like it, but it's like it has to do with Fortnite. It's so popular, and the way that like Fortnite handles their pro scene is like literally anybody can like compete in tournaments. It's like if they put up a qualifier and you qualify in that qualifier, you can then play in the like pro level tournament, right?
Right.
And so it's like it's open to everyone. So then it kind of like almost removes that like casual thing to it, because like a casual player can then now compete on a pro level because they're allowing it. Where like other games like Call of Duty, it's like you have to be signed to an organization, and that organization has to have a Call of Duty team, and like it's a little bit more complicated. So I really think that like this is a direct like feedback off of like how many people are playing Fortnite and how like popular it is.
Right.
And it's just like there's money to be made there because these third party companies are selling it already for way more and making money. So
Right.
I think that they're just trying to like jump in on the action there.
Yeah, no, I think that it's definitely a smart move for them to make something that already works with their controller. It's first party branded.
Yeah. I
So-
think most games won't take advantage of it though. Like,
Well,
like
right.
but here's the thing. Okay, so to start with what Mike said about giving players the advantage with these type of peripherals, even the ones that already exist, the Scuff controllers, the Astro, anybody who makes a controller with, because really when you go spend the almost $200 on one of these Xbox Elite controllers, right?
yeah,
And you pick it up, or even the Astro, the one for PS4, these things are heavy duty, right? They're fully featured. They've got all the features of the OEM equipment, and you can then customize certain things about it, including adding mappable triggers to the back of some of them. And if any organization allows that controller to be used, and now some people in competition have the upper hand against the person that doesn't, well, it's like, how serious do you want to take it? This is legal, so go get yourself one if you think it's going to help you. That's up to the developers of the game, the organizers of the competitions. That has nothing to do with like the hardware companies, right? So if they want to make that, then they're going to make it. Like you can make a controller where you control extra shit with your feet too, you know what I mean? Like if you want
Yeah.
to. And to go on what Pop's saying about, but what he was saying about how it's being designed specifically for games that can utilize it in that way, like Fortnite, for example. But even anything where you maybe don't want to move your finger that far, or you constantly are pushing these two buttons together. Like it's kind of like you make the profile on a computer and load it to the controller, and then that profile is selectable, I think, on a Switch on the back or on these expensive ones.
Right.
But, and actually, I really want to wait for Pop to get back until I go into this final thing about it, so I'll just kind of keep vamping on this one for a second. I know a few people who they'll take those pro controllers like that, and they won't even use the programmable buttons on the back. They just like the weight. They like that they can swap the D-pad for a different kind of feeling D-pad. And they've got, some
Right.
of them have the trigger stops where the travel isn't as far as you could like just decrease the throw of the trigger. But
Yep.
my main point on this specific peripheral for the DualShock 4 and why I'm happy about it, it's like, great, you want to give people the option. It's not that cumbersome. It doesn't look ugly. Like it's got an OLED screen for some reason, so that's kind of cool. But
yeah,
it's
that's like the weirdest part to me.
it's like a very good display in this thing, but whatever. I mean, that's how so you don't need to plug it into a computer. You could just map the different buttons and what they do right there on that little OLED screen. Great, it's all fine. It's kind of like, I can't believe it took them this long to make that. Why is it coming out now? Here's what I think, and here's what I hope. I hope that this is future proofing for what's going to be baked in to the PS5 controller. Buttons on the back that are mappable and swappable right on the controller itself. And this is making it so you can still use your PS4 controllers on a PS5 when it finally releases. And I'm saying it here now, and we'll see if that's one of the reasons or the reason why. But I'm just, we could even place a little wager if you guys like a little action on this. No, but in all seriousness, I'm just making that claim right now. I really think that's what this is all about. I agree with Pop. I agree with Mike. I just think that the bigger picture here is that Xbox has already said that the
Yeah.
Xbox One controller is going to work on the new Xbox, and the new Xbox controller will work on an Xbox One.
Right.
So right off the bat, if Sony doesn't do that, come on, what are you doing? That's
Come on.
unacceptable. You got to be able to use all these fucking controllers that I've amassed need to work on the PS5. Otherwise, I might not buy one.
I do definitely think that like the screen is like a weird thing. I feel like because it's like it's facing away from you. Like you would have to turn the controller completely around to really like mess with it. Like I think what I was reading was that like you can have presets for what you want the buttons to do.
I think
and
you
that's
can
kind
make
of the main,
three profiles.
yeah,
and you do
and
it
that's
right
like the
on
main
the screen.
function of the screen is you can switch between the profiles. But I had like one thing. This is what I was thinking. That one thing with the PlayStation 5 controller,
The
that's been,
rumored
like, highly
screen that's
rumored,
going to be in it,
is that like where the home button is or whatever that
the touchpad.
the touchpad, that's actually going to be a screen.
Right. So this
Um,
would also future-proof a DualShock 4.
And so
by
like
putting
when I saw that,
screen
I
on
was
it.
kind of thinking like, oh, maybe this is like a test to see how that like technology works, or something to that effect. But yeah, like I definitely also got that feeling that like this is something that they're like trying to see exactly how it works with the controller, so that when the PlayStation 5 comes out, they kind of have like some proof of concept there.
They got to do something with all those PS Vita screens and digitizers. So let's just stick them in the controllers.
That's it. Just make it able so we can plug it into the bottom and it lights up.
But to be completely honest, I don't know that this is going to sell very well. Like there's like
I'll buy one.
there's better cheaper options for like third party like
But this is first party.
back paddles and stuff. It is first party, but it's like I can spend half the price and get a thing that maps out 5 buttons for me, which is like
Wait,
for some games
You can
like
get that
Fortnite
for
and Call of-
$15?
Yeah, like they're on Amazon. There's like a bunch of companies that make these because of how popular like the Scuff and whatever the other brand
Yeah,
is.
but
There's
are
2
they any
brands
good?
that sell. I mean, people say that they're pretty good. Like they do what they need to. I've never like
I'm reluctant to buy anything
Had-
that's
had
$15.
$15.
yeah.
$15 is like what I spend on lunch. I don't know if I want to buy some sort of like technical equipment. But no, I hear what you're saying. I think ultimately we're seeing some sort of future proofing, and I wouldn't doubt that if they were like they should allow their DualShock 4 to work with the PS5, and if they do, I think they'd be well within their like right to say, yeah, you can use the DualShock 4 with the PS5, but you have to use our peripheral. If you use a third-party peripheral, it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Nathan Plays.
See,
How you doing?
the only thing that I see about them like not doing that is the fact that like Xbox has like a really like nice position going into the next generation, because like they did so poorly this one, where it's like if you just look at like PlayStation, it's like okay, there's like almost like 3 times the amount of like just PlayStation's like the console with the controller out there than there is like Xbox Ones. So it's like I don't know, like I feel like I could see them not doing that because they'll view it as like such a huge like loss like financially, because it's like the PlayStation 4 is so much more popular than the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Right? That like there's way more people that own a PlayStation 4 controller than there is people that own an Xbox One controller. So
Yeah.
like the idea of being able to use your already existing controller on the new thing is like taking away money that they could be making.
No,
Already.
you're thinking about it wrong. I think. And
I mean,
respectfully,
I
I'm
agree.
saying in that respect that a DualShock 5 is gonna come. If that's what they call it, is gonna come with a PS5 regardless, right? So you're gonna be able to play it no matter what. Now they're saying that if you buy this and you have PS4 controller at your house too, a friend will be able to play at no extra cost to you. But what they're also saying is that if you don't have a PS5 yet, but you do have a PS4, all those people with those PS4 controllers have a better reason to go buy a PS5 now because all their shit's still going to work. Only morons like me have 37 fucking controllers. We're just like, I'm going to be rich and
Look
PS4
at the colors.
You know,
Yeah.
like
I mean, to be fair,
they're
like,
going to
I
be
agree with
worthless
you,
when
like,
that PS5 comes out.
Yeah, I hope that it's not that way. I can just see them doing that because like they're a company and they're trying to make money. So it's like the more money is like not letting it be compatible and selling new ones, right? So it's like
Right. So
I
you
don't
just
know.
have to buy PS5.
I hope that it's not because I also have like multiple controllers that I would love to be able to use and not buy new ones, but it's like I don't know.
You guys got anything else on this?
Nah.
Nathan Plays, thanks for the host. I appreciate that. Do you guys want to divert into his question?
What are your thoughts on the Stadia gaming system?
When you say the
It
Stadia
sucks.
gaming console or system, like, are you talking about the controller? Do you mean a Chromecast Ultra? Are you talking about Google's like plethora of supercomputers that stream games from the cloud in a lower resolution than playing it on native hardware? What do you mean? I mean, my thoughts on the Stadia console is they need to do something to kind of as a measure of good faith for a poor launch. They could have 1 week or 1 day before releasing it been like, you know what, this isn't the actual launch. We're just gonna test it out. You still gotta pay to play, but it's a beta, and then you got no problems. But you're just like, oh, it's here. We're ready to do it. Like Xbox, xCloud. This is my quick opinion on it. Is that xCloud is gonna probably do what it's trying to do, and its main competitor is not going to be Google Stadia. It's going to be PlayStation Now, and that's just the fact of the matter. Like Google, do we want to go through the list of things that Google has tried to do and just gave up on? Google Plus was around for 5 years and didn't work the whole time. I mean, it worked. It was functional, but nobody cared. Like, who wants Stadia to be their place to play games? Like, they need to give people a reason to want to play there.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. I think that Google is like a game service, like as a launcher, like another launcher, would have been fine. But I think trying to do it as this game streaming, because that's also going to depend on your internet too.
Yeah,
So if you don't
there's
have a good
variables,
connection,
Yeah, they could have done a little bit better of a job if they did, like, let's just say that they're like calling it, here's the Google Game Store. This is where another place to launch games, buy games and launch games. Here's the other thing, though, and they don't put this at the forefront. If you buy games on the Google launcher, you can play them on your phone, your TV, your friend's TV, your school TV, your computer, any of your consoles existing that you had. Like, if they could just somehow figure out a way to work those deals in there, with like even cable companies and shit like that, like, include Google Stadia as part of your TV, like it's on the TV already. You don't even have to do anything. It comes with smart TVs. Like, they did it all fucking wrong. They just tried to get there first, and it's kind of backfiring on them. That's if go ahead.
I also think it's like weird that like one of their big selling points was like they wouldn't even use the word 4K because that was like too old. It was like 8K. You don't need a PC or a console. We run it on our servers, and then it's
we
like
send you pixelated shit.
Yeah, like all this talk about how good you can run games and how easy it's gonna be, and then like the games that they launched with was like Lara Croft, like fucking Tomb Raider that came out in 2013, and it's like, so this is the game I get to run in 8K? Like, oh, I thought it was gonna be new shit that like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it was just weird. Like, the games that they came out with, and like, or it's like Destiny was their big thing. It's like Destiny, if you pre-order the Founders Edition, you get Destiny with all the DLC, but they didn't tell you that it was gonna be like the 3-month-old unupdated, like, afterthought version of Destiny where the devs don't really care about it. Like, I don't know, it's just I think they try to push it up early.
I think this is a good segue here, because Nathan, thanks for the host, thanks for the question. I don't want to get too into Stadia wasn't on the list. I mean, we could talk about it. We could talk about it all night, but I'd like to get into the next topic on the list, and it's really just.
Yeah, for sure.
I think what the essence of this topic is going to be digging into the new Xbox. That's professional. Digging into the new the new Xbox, which has been announced and it's been shown and it's been given a release window of holiday 2020, and let's just get it out there. I've been open to all gaming platforms and very interested in what they all have to offer as what I would consider, maybe a hardcore-ish gamer growing up, but to turn into a more casual gamer, now in life, where I just try to enjoy the best of what everybody's got to offer. The first time in my life, I'm really, really excited, and being like a PlayStation guy, kind of, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I am. I'm really, really excited about this next Xbox, and the more I read about it, the more excited I get about what it can be and what it can do and what their mission statement is like. And so, I mean, let's get into that. So we talked about last week how they at the Game Awards, gave us this Xbox Series X, right? And we've come to since learn that the Series X is a model of the new Xbox, which is going to just be called the Xbox. And I think they're kind of saying that from here on out, it's just going to be the Xbox. The newest version, the next Xbox, is going to be the Xbox still.
Mm-hmm.
So now from Xbox, we could kind of think of, PlayStation is Sony, but really the company that we're interested in, the subdivision of Sony, is the PlayStation Corporation, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Just like Microsoft has the Xbox, this is the Xbox, and they're releasing what they're calling the Series X. It almost makes the One S and the One X not sound so crazy. You had the One from Xbox, and now we've got the One S and the One X, like a sort of a smartphone naming convention thing going on. So
Right.
the Series X, it's confusing to somebody who knows nothing about gaming and wants to go buy little Johnny a new Xbox, and there's the Xbox 360. Or here's the Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 Slim, the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, the Xbox One S all digital, and now the new Xbox. It's just the Xbox again. So wait, this first Xbox and this new Xbox are just the Xbox?
Both.
Are they the same?
Yeah.
Can they play the same games? No. They cannot. Why do I?
Well, and also, I don't know if you guys talked about it last week, but this was something
Really
that was rumored a while ago and then got brought up again recently, is the fact that a lot of people are saying that the Series X isn't going to be the only one that they launch with. That there's going to be enough, so I think what they're going to do is they're putting the Series X out there to promote, because that's the more powerful,
Mm-hmm.
bigger, better one that they want. But I also think they're probably going to do a Series S.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the $100 cheaper, maybe not as powerful. Maybe it has a smaller hard SSD or whatever. That's going to be a smaller subset. But the rumor out there is that they're going to have multiple SKUs when it launches.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I think that it's fair to say that, launch day, I don't know. You think it's going to be on launch? That there's going to be two available at launch?
That's what the people that
The press has led
I
us to
think it was,
believe that, yeah.
I think it was I was reading an article from Kotaku, I believe, from a week or so ago. It was, I don't remember. It was right after the Game Awards.
Okay.
And they were they reconfirmed hey, we've talked to three different dev teams that are currently working with Xbox on games, and all three of them have told us they have different SKUs of games, which then the article goes on to say how the dev teams are unhappy with that and they don't like it because it's harder for them to they have like a game has to run on the worst version than it does, like, you know, so like they have to make the game run on this and also this, so it's harder for them and they don't really like that. But
Right.
like, you know, kind of confirmed that like, yes, there's still two different new Xboxes coming out next holiday season. So I don't know if it's going to be like day one both of them drop, but like it seems like there's definitely two different models, and I think it like kind of almost confirms it with what they're doing with the name, where it's like this is the Series X and the Xbox One X is like the more powerful one. So I could definitely see them doing like a here's the Series S.
Right,
thing.
right, yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense for them as a company, especially, you know, thinking about the consumer and what, you know, what some people are after versus what other people will be after. But I read this whole article on the Xbox, the Series X, and the article was from a website called extremetech.com, and they had a very in-depth kind of I would say like an introspective on what this thing is and what it's doing for gaming. And I think the title was something along the lines of like ended console wars or the console PC thing. But I did put a couple quotes in here, and I want to read the first one. This is from Joel Hruska, I think is how you'd say that, from Extreme Tech. And he says, or he writes, on December 12th, 2019, Microsoft announced the Xbox Series X, its next-generation game console. One of the major features of this new console is full backward compatibility with the previous generation. Your titles will transfer. Xbox One controllers will work with the Xbox Series X, and Series X controllers will work with the Xbox One. All this will arrive on day one out of the box. The reason that I put that there is because that addresses something that people don't really talk about, and what we just were talking about with the controllers working, and that's backwards compatibility, but what that truly means. Because in the article, this next quote kind of expands on the idea. It says, same article, same author, upgradability used to be a major distinguishing factor between consoles and PCs, but the last few years have seen the collapse of this one-time bulwark. I don't know what a bulwark is, but I'm guessing it's just like a speed bump. The value of upgradability isn't simply the ability to purchase faster hardware. It's knowing that all the software you previously purchased will work at least as well or better than it did before. Offering the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X as upgrades to the PS4 and the Xbox One made those consoles upgradable from within their own generation, just not enough to match PCs. After all, I can play games I literally bought 20 years ago off their original installation media, if I have the mind to, and the discs still work. Great point. And I think this is why it's imperative, not to get too much off the topic of the Xbox, because I still want to dig into it a little bit, but why I think the new PlayStation could blow people's minds away if they just let every disc work on it. I know it seems really far-fetched, and from a business standpoint, probably sounds crazy to investors. But I think if they do that, what that does for the gaming community, it says, look what's possible. You know, you with this disc, you prove to us that you acquired the license to play this game that you want to play. Why not let this be the place that you play it? I think they sell crazy, because it then becomes the one-stop shop for a retro PlayStation streaming machine.
Yeah.
Which
to
is
launch a new gaming system that will play the absolute newest game that came out today and the very first PlayStation game ever released.
It's huge.
Come on.
It's the only word for it, is huge. And the Xbox is, and look at what they're saying. They're saying that all the stuff from the previous generation will work. Now, they had a little bit of a bulwark, shall we say, with their Xbox One playing Xbox 360 games and even original Xbox games. But they made it work to some degree. Digital titles and stuff like that. And,
I think that's where like it gets tricky, is like the digital side of things, where it's like,
why
like
make it able to play all the discs when we can just sell you those games again?
Exactly. Or like like if we let you play your discs, then do we offer the option if you don't have the disc to buy it digitally? But then we have to do the work of like renewing license and all that stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I think it would just be nice if it was like the PlayStation 3. Like, I don't think it was really advertised when it came out that it's like you can play all PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. It was just kind of like, hey, PlayStation 3's play PlayStation 1 games. Like, it's not like something that it's not a selling point. It just works.
Yeah, but the
Right?
first
Like,
the first PS3s played everything before it, or tried to.
yeah, no, but
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
wasn't
saying
a
is, like,
selling
they
point,
didn't
but it was like,
advertise that as a selling point, and I feel like they've already made it clear that like, hey, the PlayStation 5 will play all PlayStation 4 games. Like they've said that.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like I kind of think that it would be cool if it was just like and it'll play all the other games too. We're just not going to advertise that because we don't want to have to deal with like renewing license and things like that.
yeah.
Like I sent you a picture, Mark, of like my PlayStation 3 collection.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know, like I'm kind of at the point where like it takes up a lot of space. I don't know if I want to keep. I don't know if I want to get rid of it. I don't know if I keep it. Like I'm moving at the end of the month, so I'm trying to like cut down on space and stuff. And it's like in my head, I was thinking like, man, this is really gonna suck if I like decide to sell all this, and then in like 12 months, all of these games I would be able to play on the new thing, and like like I don't know, like I kept thinking about that, like man, that would really be cool. That'd be awesome if I could do that, because I think it also like hold like from a collector standpoint, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it makes like the value of those games go up in a sense because they're still like usable, right? Like,
Desirable, yeah, because you
yeah,
can
they're
still
desirable because
put
you
them in a
can.
machine and play.
You don't have to, you don't have to have a PlayStation 3 to play PlayStation 3 games. I have to PlayStation 2 to play PlayStation 2 games. So I don't know. I think that'd be cool. There's like lots of rumors out there that PlayStation is like hinting at doing something like that.
Right.
So I think it would be really cool, but I don't know. Until they specifically say it, it's kind of hard to like judge.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it would be super cool if they could pull that off. And
Yeah.
I don't does licensing even really become an issue if you're releasing hardware that just plays old games?
So it doesn't like physically, but then you run into the option where it's like digitally.
If
that's
you
where
offer
it
them
becomes true.
digitally. But they
So
don't
like
have to do
Xbox,
that.
Xbox with like what they did with their backwards compatibility is like if you have the disc, you can just pop it in and it works. But
But
they
it
also
loads it
gave the
digital.
option. They also
Oh.
gave the option to buy it digitally.
Mhm.
Sorry, there goes. In case like you don't have the game, right? Like if you don't have the Halo 1 on the Xbox, it's kind of hard to get. You can't go to the store and buy it, right? So it's
Right.
like we want to give you an option to buy it digitally.
Right.
And that's kind of where it gets tricky.
To touch upon what you were saying before, like the PlayStation 2 when it came out, it played the PS1 discs, and I remember everybody being like, "That's great." That was the first
Yeah.
time I ever really heard backwards compatibility brought up in a conversation. As a young gamer, like I didn't really hear that kind of stuff too much. But then when the PS3 came out, it was kind of just we all assumed, oh, well, the PS2 played PS1 games, so this one's probably going to play PS2 games at least, and it came out and it played all three.
Yeah.
So when the PS4 came out and said, we just play PS4 games, I remember being like, wait a minute. What? So they don't really have a reason. Well, they have a good reason to provide backwards compatibility with their next console, but I guess talking about what PlayStation's doing right now during this topic of the new Xbox,
Yeah,
it's kind of. I just hope they do something. I hope they at least offer the ability to play your PS4 discs. I think you've got two huge. They sold a lot of PS4s. A lot of software is out there. Yeah.
Something like that. Like the PlayStation 2 and the Wii, I think, are the only ones that are like above it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's the PlayStation 2 and the 3DS, or the DS.
No, if you don't count handheld consoles,
then
I think
the
it's
second.
the PS2, then the PS4, then the PS1, then the PS3. That's the
Yeah.
oh no PS1
No,
then
the
Wii.
The Wii is definitely in there. Yeah.
The Wii is fourth,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
PS3. So, I mean, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. So there's a lot of people that have lots of games for PlayStation consoles.
Yeah.
Okay, Diamonds, you may ask a question. Oh, Mike, that's 3 already. Oh, yeah, I already saw that question. That question sucks. Back to this Xbox. The new Xbox. What we know about it, right? What we know about the what Phil Spencer has actually come out and said, and that's what can you? He said that he wants to have the most powerful, like the best of the best that there is, but also in the same breath, kind of talking about how I want Xbox games to be able to be played kind of anywhere, like the whole xCloud discussion.
Yeah.
So does it make sense? I think if you're gonna offer, I'm wondering, are they implying that you use this new Xbox as the as the way to broadcast these games to like in the way that the PS4 can output? You can do remote play. Is this new Xbox going to be required to play your Xbox games anywhere? Is it something like that, or is it something like a Google Stadia where xCloud is a service that you buy separately, and if you happen to have an Xbox at home, then it'll work on there too, but you don't need one as a prerequisite to play. Any thoughts?
I don't know. They've been very especially Phil Spencer. He's been very specific on I think they realize that I think everybody kind of realizes that Google Stadia is a failure, right? In a sense of what it was trying to promise,
Right.
and then what it actually delivered when it launched. So they've been very clear that xCloud is just a service that will it'll add on to your already existing Xbox console. And so they've been very specific with their wording there. So I think initially it's just going to be an add-on. It's kind of like Game Pass, right? Where it's you can have an Xbox and not have Game Pass. But if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, it makes your Xbox experience a lot better.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what xCloud will be, at least to start. Maybe down the road they branch it off into its own thing. But I think they're going to be very cautious with it, just because of what Google Stadia has gone through,
exactly
in the public eye and stuff.
And I think that they should.
Yeah.
With everybody trying to everybody took a good hard look at that, because you put a name like Google on something like that and it gets a lot of attention. So now to try and pull off the same service, they definitely have to be careful.
See, but Xbox is doing great things with theirs. They're doing the thing, but they're calling it a trial or a test. Or they're not.
Yeah, they're doing it the right way. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean when
they're
you're
not trying to push it out. And
let's not forget that Xbox as a company is a big time. They're gargantuan in the gaming space. You don't talk about gaming unless you're talking about Xbox too, So all these elitists and console wars people, I'm very tired of that shit. It's just a very tired excuse to not play a game that's if a game is exclusive to a console, you're going to say, oh, I would only play that if it came to Xbox or if it came to PlayStation. It was all right, well, fuck off then.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of curious, because Mark, you said you seem like you're pretty excited about
I am.
the stuff that's coming out. What about you, Mike? How are you? What are your thoughts on the new generation of Xbox?
I mean, I'm super excited to hear that they're trying to keep in mind all the stuff that they already have, because I feel maybe it's just me, but I feel with the half-step consoles, we're just getting new console after new console after new console.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna push them out this fast, I feel like it's good that they're taking everything that we already have. Like over the past 3 or 4 or whatever years, you guys have invested all this into, this product that we put out, and now we're gonna put out a new one and start over. And with a lot of companies doing remasters or remakes of popular titles to try and help push more games, and I think it's nice for titles that we already got to just work, especially if it does work day one like they're promising.
Okay.
I think that like, to me, it still like, I like everything that Xbox is doing, and I just recently, like in the past month or so, I've got into the Games Pass on PC, and like that is like like, if we really want to like talk about the future of gaming, like Games Pass is like, that's where it's at, like a Netflix style, like here's however many games, like you pay a monthly subscription and you can play any of them, like
And what is the actual price? It's like $50 for 3 months or something.
For Games Pass? No,
Yeah.
it's like I think it's like $5.99. It's like ridiculous.
No. I got the 3 months for $1, but I'm saying when the
I
3
did
months runs out, it's they
I
do
think
a
it's also based on what platforms you're using it on, right?
no.
Yeah, so
No.
There's different. There's different like options when you do it. There's a $5.99 one and a $10.99 one, or a $12.99 one. I think I don't remember the higher price point. The higher price point gives you like, it's the same thing as having the Xbox Gold.
Yeah.
I think where it gives you two games a month for free, but like, I'm only paying $5 or like $6, whatever, for Games Pass.
This is saying $10 a month, or if you want to pay up front, it's the same price, but $60 for 6 months. That's worth it. Remember when the Netflix of gaming? Don't forget when Netflix used to send you a DVD in the mail.
Oh yeah,
we had that for games too. It was called GameFly, and then there was another one too. Blockbuster had one. Remember Blockbuster Video? They had a Blockbuster something or other. And
there was another one too, because my brother did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't GameFly, it was something else.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it was, subscription-based game rental service.
But yeah, I don't know. I think going back to like my main point though is like, I think that like, if Xbox really wants to like continue to like make money and like kind of go towards the future, I think it's in that. To me, like, I'm not too excited about like all the stuff that we like just went over about the new Xbox is cool. Like, I like the idea of like being able to use like old like Xbox One stuff on the new Xbox, and the new Xbox stuff working on Xbox One, on like backwards compatibility and all that stuff. It's like really cool. I like the idea of that, but to me it just comes down as to like, Xbox really has no games that I want to play, and PlayStation has a lot of games that I want to play.
So
like, I'm just going to default to the PlayStation because I know I'm going to get Horizon 2, God of War 2, Spider-Man 2, Last of Us 3 or whatever. Like, so it's like that one's just more like, I want it because I know I'm going to get those things.
Well, it always kind of like, that's the thing. It always comes down to the games. And I'd like to see a world where there was a little bit less exclusivity and a little bit more inclusivity, as cliche as that sounds. I like that game companies are starting to play nice with each other. For all the people that would be mad if Sony and Xbox were like, hey, we're joining up and now it's just going to be the Xbox PlayStation, right? Yeah. For all the people that would be mad, that's what Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games calls the vocal minority, because I feel like gamers around the world would rejoice. It would be hands held across the world. You know what I mean? Everybody would be so happy that now you get the best of both worlds on whatever console, whatever controller feels better in your hand. Doesn't matter. They're the same. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. But
See,
and you're never going to see the Xbox, PlayStation made by
Yeah.
Nintendo. That's not going to, Nintendo actually is getting up there with like that Apple type of money,
Yeah.
So Nintendo's doing fine. They figured it out, and that's great. I
Yeah.
like seeing how Nintendo. It's almost fun. Like, okay, the next Xbox is going to be basically a PC. I mean, consoles have always just been PCs that were designed to do very specific tasks, and now
Yeah.
we're getting it. It's like, why not just say, hey, here's the Xbox. It's a PC. You can't install whatever you want, but that's why the thing costs less, because
Yeah.
we're protecting you from destroying your computer. But let it run Windows. I mean, it is running Windows. The original Xbox. You know where the name Xbox comes from, yeah? It's the team at Windows who was responsible for making the basically the I guess program that runs in the background that helps you run games on Windows was called DirectX. It's always been called DirectX.
Yeah.
And they were making the Direct Xbox. And then somebody must have heard that and was like, well, how about just the Xbox? You know what I mean? Because but from that first Xbox, it was running a version of Windows that was just very streamlined with what you could do. You could launch games, you could play music, play it. Yeah, that's what we've got with this new Xbox, except they're opening it up a little bit more. And that's why, if not this generation, I think next generation, we see the home console marketed the way a PC is, with upgradable components. And, you just open the back, you plug it in, it works. That's all you got to do. If it doesn't work, you send it back, and we fucking talk you through it on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna like market like both of them. I think Xbox and PlayStation are gonna both market the new consoles as a normal new console. It's like, hey, here's the PlayStation 5, here's the new Xbox, and then in 3 or 4 years, when we get to that point where it would be like, hey, here's the PlayStation Pro, here's the Xbox, whatever. I think that's when you'll see like, hey, rather than buying a new console, just buy this upgrade, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't even think they have to do it right away. Like,
I
think
mean,
it's
they
something
like
that they
selling
can,
you a
hold
new
off on.
console every generation, but as we've already established,
Yeah.
the money doesn't come from the
It's
console.
consoles,
It comes from the
games.
software.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I really like what Xbox is doing. Like all the like service side stuff.
Hmm.
But to me, it just comes down to the games, and it's like
It always is
I
going
feel
to.
like
Yeah, I mean,
that's where it's like, I don't know, like according to like what they're saying, right, is like the new Halo, like Halo Infinite or whatever, is going to be an Xbox One game, which means that like it'll be on the Games Pass because all first party Xbox One games are on Games Pass. So it's like
guess-
like they like even that, like that's not even like the system seller of like, oh, I have to buy the new Xbox to play the new Halo. It's like, oh, I could just pay $5 on PC and play it.
Yeah, but until it's
Right.
an
It's like-
until it's an xCloud thing, though, you still do need to download it and have a decent computer to run that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a system seller, because not everybody has that. With xCloud, when you can do
Well,
it
but
on
no,
your
but if you
shitty,
haven't if you have an Xbox, you can like an Xbox. What I'm saying is
Oh,
you
an
don't have
Xbox
to
One.
buy the new Xbox.
oh, I see,
because
I
like
see.
it's
Yeah,
like
but
Halo Infinite is an Xbox, even though it's launching with the new Xbox. It's an Xbox One game as
right.
well.
And we've seen companies
So like
do
you
that,
don't
and it
you don't
works.
have to buy the new console to play the new Halo.
Right, but we've
So it's
seen
like-
companies do that, and it works, right? When Nintendo did it with Breath of the Wild, you got pretty much the same exact game, minus a couple little issues with, like, I don't know, draw distance on Breath of the Wild, right? The same game, though. It's identical. I can't look at side-by-side footage and see a difference. But then you get things like Shadow of Mordor. Remember Shadow of Mordor? I used to stream it on my channel in the early days.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor on PS4 was an amazing game. And it was amazing because of the Nemesis system, where you would take down orcs from. Are you familiar with how that worked? How it would, like, they would remember, like, people would
Yeah,
develop
If
vendettas
they kill
against you.
then they're like
They become
reputation goes
stronger.
up,
Their
and
rank
their-
goes
yeah.
up. Yeah, they get promoted and all this shit. So that game was out on PS3 as well, and it was pretty much the same game except it didn't have that Nemesis system. You know what I
That
mean?
system is so cool.
Right. That's what makes the game. That's what makes the
Yeah.
game good. So I think you might still sell systems with Halo Infinite because it's going to be the best place to play.
Yeah.
But even if you don't, yeah, I mean, there's people right now who are going to buy this shit the day it comes out, no matter what it is. And then there's people who are going to wait. And I think this generation, like I always say, I never bought a console day one to this day. And I said I was going to do it with the Switch, and I didn't. The only
Yeah.
time I
I don't
ever...
think I have either.
No, I've never bought a console day one, and I don't think I'm gonna start. I bought my phone pretty early. I got the Galaxy phone, the S10.
Mm-hmm.
I got that pretty close to launch, but still not day one. And I don't know. I waited and read some reviews. It's like everything. I can't think of one thing aside from software that I was excited about that I went and got the day it came out. Like Uncharted
Yeah.
4, Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS3, and like
Because it's all about the games.
it's all about the
I mean,
games.
for me, it was the Switch, right? Like, I bought the Switch day one because I didn't have a Wii U and I wanted
To play
I wanted
Breath
to
of the
play
Wild.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But also too, like I feel like I don't know, like I remember you, Mark, like specifically when the Switch came out, it was like there were like people like kind of panicking, like, "Oh, it's a piece of shit." Like, I got mine and it was bent, or like
Mhm.
this thing, and it's like no, like for the most part, it was just really good when it came out. Like,
Yeah, I
There's-
mean, I heard
you
way
know,
more
like-
people talking about how great it was than I heard people talking about how
Yeah.
bad it was. My bad
Mm.
experience with the Switch was just the motherfucker who decided to wrap packing tape and paper all around my fucking Switch box before I even got to take it home and open it. I was so mad that day.
yeah,
Some fucking asshole put tape all over my Switch box, and I got it from Walmart, and I brought it right from the electronics department to the customer service and said, "Can I return this? It's not open." And then, "Can I get a new one? I saw you have them in the shelf. Could I just get one that doesn't have tape all over the box?" And they were like, "Yeah." And they told me
Yeah,
that the guy who did that
weirdo.
was a fucking asshole. He's like,
um,
yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, you guys.
So
What is-
before
what
we
is,
move on
Oh,
from
yeah.
this Xbox thing,
Yeah.
two trains of thought
Okay.
about not specifically about the Series X, but about the future of Xbox going forward from here.
Okay.
So we're talking about the possibility of instead of the half steps, now we get, like a swappable component upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Maybe in the future.
Right. So my train of thought on this is if we let people crack open into the Xbox, like obviously Microsoft is going to be much happier selling you an entire new box, even if they only change one thing
Mm-hmm.
and call it something new.
Yeah.
So I really feel like they're not going to want people inside the box, period.
I agree.
But the question is can the public that knows enough about all this stuff pressure Microsoft into that train when they crack open the next one and find it's exactly the same with a new graphics card or with, a little bit more RAM or something in it this time? Can they push Microsoft to do the right thing and get us just component upgrades?
See, this is the thing. I think it shouldn't be like when it happens, if it does, it's not going to be cracking into shit. It's going to be you push this button on the side of the Xbox and the door swings open, and if you unplug the graphics card while the game is playing, it doesn't crash the computer. It just says warning, alert. You know what I mean? Like the shit is unplugged or so, if you unhinge or if you open the door while a game is playing, it's like the game stops playing. You're not going to be able to do shit until everything is seated. And I'm saying it's going to be like a plug where one side is a triangle and the other side's a square, and you can't fucking put it in wrong. Like it'll be impossible, and it'll be like plastic butted up.
Yeah.
There's not going to
like
be
we had talked about before,
Yeah.
it'd have to be bulletproof if they were going to let you in there. Period.
right. And you say they'd rather sell you a new box, but would they rather sell you a new box? Like if they could just milk you out of everything and then sell you the new box. Oh, here's the same thing. It does all the same shit. It's just 20% smaller and 20% quieter.
Well, and also you have like there's a bigger chance that you get like. But I think it also depends too on how successful the like Xbox launches, right? So like let's say the Xbox sells 20 million units in the first 3 years, or whatever. I don't know. That's just an example. It's like, okay, in 3 years when it's time to like upgrade, is it more like financially viable for them to go, hey, pay this $70 to upgrade this part in your already existing like 20 million user fan base, like customer
Install base, yeah.
Mhm.
or hey, here's this $400 new thing that's way better than the thing you have. Now we have to try and resell this thing to the people that didn't buy it and the people that already have it, right? Like,
Right.
I think it just depends on how. That's why I think, like, with that stuff, they probably, like, even if the Xbox day one comes out and it's, like, ready to go with swappable components and things like that, I don't think they actually like advertise it as so. I
Yeah,
think
it's kind of like
right.
how with the
Not
PS3 and the
until it's
PS4,
Here's the-
you could
yeah,
change the
here's
hard drive,
Xbox,
but they're not telling you
and,
that
like,
really.
yeah, exactly. Like here's the Xbox, and down the road, whenever we think games need more like processing power or whatever, like then we'll address it.
I mean,
But, like,
for
I don't
all
think
intents
they-
and purposes, this is not a new idea for console gaming. Nintendo had the
like memory
Super
packs
the
and-
Super Effects chip for the cartridges on Super Nintendo to make they did that for Star Fox, and they did that for Yoshi's Island. Those two cartridges came with the Super Effects chip and made them work better. The original Nintendo upgraded their chips early on. Like if you look at the early black box titles for Nintendo games, they're very rudimentary, crudely drawn. You know what I mean? Then you get on the same exact system years down the road when the chips get better and they upgrade the memory on the cart. You get games like Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers 3, Metroid. Like Metroid is huge
Yeah.
that they fit onto that little cartridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nintendo
Plus they had always
64.
built in the ports.
Yeah, Nintendo
to-
64 gave you the expansion port that you needed to play. Oh, I think it was Siphon Filter, or no, Perfect Dark, right?
Mhm.
Perfect Dark needed it. Donkey Kong 64, Majora's Mask. I think those were the ones, right?
Those
but-
were the ones I think that required it.
Yeah, and then others got like a little
was the-
boost from it.
Yeah.
And like, what are other examples of that? Shit, who else did some shit like that? I don't know if anybody else really any other console did anything like that. I mean, you had wasn't
Or
there
not, they took
adapters for
advantage
Game
of it.
Boys
There was
that
all kinds of
you could get
ports.
like
Like, oh,
the Super Game Boy, right?
Super Game
Super
Boy.
Game Boy would put color into non-colorized Game Boy games.
Yeah.
And even offer you entirely new games with some of them.
So the point is, this is not unheard of, and we live in an age where, I mean, like I know my way around my computer, sure, but I had never put one together before I put this one together, and I just watched a YouTube video and I was able to pull it off. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, you got to give people a little bit of credit, but then again, you see some people out there in the world, and you go, do we really want to give them like access to this electronic device that maybe it's plugged in? They stick their finger into like the wet spot and then into the fucking port. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oops,
Oh, there's
we just
dust
lost
right
all our
there.
profit. But I think we kind of covered all the bases, right? We can move on because we talked about the
Yeah.
fact that the Xbox it's really hammering home backwards compatibility and what that actually means, where your peripherals are also gonna, remember there was a time when the Xbox One shipped with a Kinect inside every box.
Yep.
Nobody asked for that, but they did it.
Nope.
Everybody hated it. But...
Yeah. Okay, so my last thought.
Oh, right.
Before we
Go
move
for
on,
it.
right?
Yep.
Instead of making these things bulletproof, what if the next step, instead of replaceable components, is Microsoft getting out of the Xbox game and turning Xbox brand into their own gaming PC brand of computers?
Okay, so like
So
you want to
instead
buy
of
an
just
Xbox, it's
calling
like
it-
going and buying an Alienware,
Right,
Yeah.
but
exactly.
you're buying an Xbox.
Exactly. Instead, it's now just a full PC that they guarantee, every single one of them. They're not going to have like grandma needs a computer to read her emails on the intrawebs.
You know what I think
Like,
you do? I think you kind of shoot yourself in the foot if you're Xbox, because um you'll be like the I don't know, the budget version of PC gaming, the affordable entry level, like the new, like, kind of, we like right now they're going to be the best, strongest console, and then they're going to turn that into being like possibly the most inferior PC, you know?
Which, like, another like quick side note is that, like, from everything that I've seen, like, of like people
Unless
talking
you're
about,
okay with paying $1,600 for an Xbox.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
but like from everything that I've seen with like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, like, uh, everybody's saying that, like, I don't know that, like, I think Xbox is like holding on to, like, we're the most powerful from like the Xbox One X.
yeah.
But it's like from everything that I've like read about like the new consoles, it's like people are kind of saying that they're like exactly the same. Like they're like everything inside is like pretty much the same.
But even if
So-
they're not, teraflops and teraflops, it really still comes back
Yeah.
to the games. So
Yeah, it comes
it's a
down to
moot
the game.
point. I think, we all three of us identify as gamers, right? I would say it's safe
Yeah.
to say that we all play games on consoles, but also on PC as well, and maybe some pepper and some handhelds here and there. And I don't want to sit here and say like that I'm one or the other, but we understand that a console is worth it. It's worth it because you buy it for a reasonable amount that plays a lot of the same games that a PC will play, but you don't have to
Yeah.
fuck around with drivers and installing this and your shit crashing for no reason, and all of a sudden like some shader's not rendering properly. Like, you plug it in, you put the disc in, it fucking
convenience
sits there for 20 minutes and loads off the disc, and then it sits there for another 20 minutes and downloads bullshit updates, but then it just works,
Yeah.
So that's why we like the consoles, and that's why I think they're not going to really go away. And
Right.
and to call back to a previous thing before we move on, because I'm getting getting sick of this one, but is the Stadia probably would have done a little bit better if they had said like, yeah, here's our console. Technically it's just a Chromecast, but it's branded with Stadia on top of it, and like it works out of the box. Like,
Yeah.
we give you something to plug in. Like, even though it'll work anywhere, like, here's the way to play it on your TV with this
Yeah.
little Chromecast console. But they're saying like, I don't know. It's just another example of how Google just wasn't ready. They just
Yeah.
weren't.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about
I really want to talk about this next one.
this Puma stuff? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go switch over to the media screen. Here's the commercial for the new Puma active gaming footwear. Here we go.
Ooh,
Oh boy.
It's a sock with a rubber sole.
spoiler.
I will say, for a sock, it's pretty stylish.
I would like to fucking. Where is the article?
Ultimate grip indoor rubber. Hold
don't know,
on,
man.
hold on. I've got an opinion on this. I'm gonna start this one because it's got that sticky grip to lock it in. By the way, okay. Thanks, Puma, for giving us the active gaming footwear.
All right.
Just let's talk about if there's any pros to be had. I mean, this fucking thing, they're charging, I think, like something like 60.
105.
Oh, sorry, $105. Yeah, okay. Oof. All right. Here's the thing. I'm actually not doing it right now, but normally while I'm sitting here, while we're podcasting, or if I'm playing anything that I'm streaming, sometimes I got to get up and run downstairs. And we changed, the floors in here. There used to be carpet. Now it's all these laminate floor. It's like, simulated hardwood. They're slippery as fuck. I could see
yes.
how, like, okay, what do you need? If you're inside gaming, what do you need? You got to run, get up quick, run, take a piss before the next match starts, or get a snack.
Hell yeah.
You don't want to bust your ass going down the stairs or like sliding across your floor. So, great idea. But guess what, Puma? I already got fucking shoes. I could just wear them inside and they won't get dirty, and then they're indoor shoes.
Yep.
Fucking what a novel concept. I like the thing. I think it makes sense. It's comfortable. Your foot isn't bound by a shoe. It makes sense. You're going to be sitting at a desk, but you want some grip on your feet in case you have to get up. But you don't want to be wearing a whole fucking shoe and stepping all over your shit with your shoes on. You're not going to wear this outside, but I guess if there was a fucking fire while you're sitting there playing your games, you could run outside and still have something covering your feet. Great idea. $105? What kind of fucking methamphetamines are you guys smoking over there at Puma?
That is a good ass question. Because when I watched this, I said, it's an ugly sock with rubber spilt on it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do I make any sort of like valid argument for the thing? I was trying to think like, why is this good? And I think that's the reason why it's good. But other than that, it's a way to get like your logo onto an esports gaming scene. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yes, it absolutely is. Just look at our brand. Look at us trying to associate with gaming. Let's do this.
Didn't
crossover
Adidas
thing.
sponsor Ninja?
Yeah.
And didn't
Yep.
The other companies, Nike or somebody, sponsor some other team or something?
I think I don't know.
Under Armour, maybe. I don't know who did it, but
Yeah,
like
I
they're
do
getting
remember
into the
reading that.
space.
Like honestly, I think that's why this is happening. Is like Ninja got sponsored by Adidas, and so it's like, hey, here's this like gamer who has his own clothing line now and his own like shoes that just came out, and like, but like the difference is that like Ninja has like a huge fan base, whereas like this is just being marketed as like if you're a gamer.
Yeah.
And it's like, like the description. I wanted to read this like one sentence.
Go
'cause
for
it's
it.
Just fucking fantastic. Hold on, where is it? Exactly how these socks will improve your gaming performance is unclear. Although Puma says the product has been designed for indoor and in-arena use to deliver seamless comfort, support, and grip, so gamers can adapt to different active gaming modes and game their best. And it's like, there's nothing, like, I don't care what you try to sell me on or what you try to tell me. There's nothing that like I can put on my feet that is gonna make me like game better.
Wait, but you
Like,
never tried to put your feet up
come on.
underneath your desk onto like the crossbar under your desk and they keep slipping off? Isn't that so annoying?
I mean,
like I don't.
You've never been
seriously.
gaming in an arena and had to run up the run up into the stands?
Yeah, like I don't know. I have this weird thing where like anytime any like product like brands itself as like a generic title, it's probably not worth your time. So it's like if something goes, "We're a gaming sneaker,"
I
then
mean,
it's
my
probably
question is, where are all the
like.
yeah, probably trash. Where's all the memes for this? Do they exist yet? That's all.
I
I'm
honestly
sure they're
think that
coming.
it's just like nobody cares about it because it's so ridiculous.
I mean, can't I put a sock on my foot and then step in liquid rubber and then, or like
Dude,
what is
or-
it? What's
Yeah.
that shit that comes in a spray can?
oh, Flexaseal or whatever. Like-
No, not even that. It's something dip, plastid dip or something.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Plasti dip, right? Isn't that what it's called?
yeah.
Or just go to the hospital and get those free pair of fucking like.
I was just about to say
on
the
the
last
bottom.
time I got
Yo, those
hospitalized,
shits are
they
super
gave me-
grippy.
Yeah.
like, what?
But if you wear them like and you're sick and you wear them all day and then they get turned around, the other side is like the opposite of how grippy they are. They're like super slippery.
I don't know.
Hospital socks,
This is
man.
just so dumb to me. Like it's just like a
It's very
hey,
dumb.
gamers like shoes too, huh? Like
Yeah.
let's sell
like yeah, do
gamer
these socks
shoes.
when you buy it for $105, do they come with a bag of Doritos and a bottle of Mountain Dew too? Because
Right. Exactly.
I feel like they'd sell more of them.
Yeah.
And my problem is it feels like there's too much going on to be a sock, but there's not enough going on to be a shoe.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like if you bought like a really
it's a
nice pair
shock.
of sneakers and they had like a liner that was the entire
Yeah.
inside of the shoe and you like accidentally got it stuck to your foot and pulled it out one day. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've seen shoes like that too though, where they're just like
There are
almost
shoes
nothing.
that are
They're
like,
like mesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's like a trend. I think
My
is
girl
like
got
the,
like
sock
7
shoe.
different pairs of like these Adidas shoes that they just kind of like morph around your foot, and then there's a rubber sole.
Yeah,
Like
or
they
like
have
the
laces,
knitted
but you don't
shoes.
ever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Mm.
drive me nuts. And these remind me of like beach shoes, like water shoes.
Oh yeah, but I bet
Yeah.
you don't want to
Dude,
wear them to
water
the beach.
shoes.
Hell
I
no.
wear water. No, see, I have this. Okay, we're not getting into this. Never mind.
No, no, no. I'm saying these Puma things you probably
Yeah.
don't want to wear around
Yes,
water
I
because they're
agree.
gonna get ruined.
No, they're for
Yeah.
indoor or in arena.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh
All right,
man,
for
I
a
want to know
test,
who's
though-
buying. I'm about to buy them and just start
Yeah.
like wearing them everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm gonna need fucking Mike to play 10 games of Overwatch in his normal attire, and then 10 games of Overwatch in the gaming Puma shoes.
Yo.
See
Yo,
how much better
but
it is.
should we go onto their press section of their page and be like, yeah, we got a podcast. We're just wondering if we could get some samples to review your
yeah,
shoe.
I mean,
I would
why
love
not?
to review these shoes.
Me too. I'm
Currently,
gonna try
if
that.
If
At
they
the
can
bottom-
make them big enough to fit my feet.
We
at
could
the
we could
bottom it
relay the
does
message
say-
to our 3 viewers,
Yeah.
3 of which are all 3 of us.
At the bottom, it does say that they're
That's
only
loyalty.
available in Australia and the UK. But
Hit up Ali Flan.
yeah,
Aren't you first subscriber in her stream?
I am. I got some pull in there.
There you go.
But yeah, this one was ridiculous. I don't know. This next topic, I feel like
Oh,
I heavily agree with, which I don't know that you two.
no, I
Right?
think this is a good list, and that's why I popped it on here. Do you guys want to
Oh, this will be interesting because this I did not look at.
Okay, so here,
Okay.
this is Business Insider, which does a lot of gaming content nowadays because when you think about it, it's one of the most money making, industries out there, video games. So the 10 video games that defined the decade and changed the world of gaming, and give credit where credit is due. This is by Ben Gilbert and Kevin Webb of Business Insider. Right away, at the top of the list, we've got Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Was released on September 17th, 2003, and is available for Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and PC. Do you guys have any? Well, let's keep it succinct, but some retrospective on. I mean, one of gaming's still most wildly successful games to this day.
Yeah.
I
Like-
mean, it is crazy successful how much it sells, and people do love it. But
Released nearly 7 years ago.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of like what makes it impactful for the decade. Like, what about the new Grand Theft Auto is that much better than the last one?
I would
That
say
it's-
everything,
Yeah.
Everything?
but
I
mainly
think
the
it's-
multiplayer. That's what.
I
That's
think
what
it's
does
the
it.
idea of, like-
Multiplayer on Grand Theft Auto 4 was so
Yeah.
cool and so fun, but so like we're just trying this out.
Yes.
It was like it was kind of reminded me of that No Players Online game. It's just like,
And
you're
that's-
here in the same city, but now you've got your name floating above your head.
Right, and that's what I think of when I think of like online multiplayer for a game. When we talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 online, I think about Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah,
That's it. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think about 5 in relation to that game at all.
but that's the world that you're in. Is the world that
Yeah.
5 gave you.
Right. But then really is it that they just gave you the city?
Well,
and
I don't know.
then
Rockstar
the
can
story
call Rockstar
containing
can
these
call
three
it
guys?
Rockstar can call it Grand Theft Auto Online all they want. That's marketing. That is Grand
Right.
Theft Auto 5's online mode. And until it does something that the Grand Theft Auto 5 engine can't do, like, yeah, they don't give you flying fucking hover bikes in the Grand Theft Auto 5 story mode, but you can go online and play in a sandbox mode where nobody can shoot you and play with all that stuff. So, as far as I'm concerned, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. I think Grand Theft Auto 5, it would be on my list of the most impactful games of the decade. If I could only pick 10, I think GTA 5 is the best
Yeah.
one. It's
I agree with you. I agree with you to some extent, Mike. I feel like almost at this point, like the online and the like story of Grand Theft Auto 5, like the story single player story mode, are like two separate things. But I
Yeah.
think like the one thing that connects them is that like the story mode obviously came out before the online, and it's like the story mode, the single player story mode, like built all of those things that allow the online to be like as successful as it is. So it's like they didn't have to make like um the like the clothing system so detailed. They didn't have to make the driving system so detailed. They didn't have
Right.
to make like the way heist works so like intricate and stuff, and that all plays a part into like the story of like Grand Theft Auto 5. But that's also why the online is so successful, is because all that stuff is so fleshed out that it's like it allows it to be played for like 7 years and people not get bored of it.
But do
So I
you
think
think
like
it's because we had the like building block of the the story mode to it and everything? Because the complaint that I heard from a lot of people about Red Dead 2 was that they had so many systems and everything was so flushed out that it became a nuisance to try and tackle all.
right,
well
but I
that
think
was
the
that
general
was
consensus
just
was like if you tried to divert from the way that they were guiding you or funneling you to do it, then you would fail your mission. Where Grand Theft Auto doesn't, they give you more
yeah.
freedom, and that's just why it's better.
But also too, like to that point, like you are correct, Mike, but like I think it's like the difference in the games where it's like, okay, it's really fun to drive a fast car around in Grand Theft Auto. It's not fun to ride a slow horse across the map in
True.
Red Dead Redemption 2. It's really fun to pull out a gun and shoot people in Grand Theft Auto. It's not fun to like like sprint and chase down somebody to try to get close enough to like rope them to tie them up. Like there's like a huge difference in like what you're actually doing, and like one is really fun and the other one is really boring. So it doesn't matter how fleshed out it is. It's just from the start not fun. Where one like is really fun, and I think that was like the disappointment. That has nothing to do with the online though. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 online was like so terribly done from the start compared
Right.
to Grand Theft Auto Online that it's like almost like unbelievable when you
But
think of like how successful Grand Theft Auto Online was, and
Right.
then like you go into Red Dead Redemption 2 and it's like, hey, this is a beta, nothing works. We didn't counter the fact that like people would grief, like we didn't know all this, and it's like, how did you not know all this stuff? You've been working on an online game for the past 7 years. Like that's what
And
was
if you
disappointing about the online.
And if you
For
gave
Red
Red Dead another 7 years, I'm sure that you'd find something that people would also enjoy.
Are you?
But don't you think that, like-
but wait, Mike, are you just being a contrarian, or do you really think that like Red Dead is a better experience, or could be better than Grand Theft Auto 5, or that Grand Theft
know.
Auto 5 is not the superior title? I guess.
I think that what it comes down to is not a matter of which one is better. I think that at that point it just becomes which one is your preference. Would
Well,
you prefer
all of
to
this-
be a cowboy, or would you prefer to be in the modern day?
But all of this is subjective. I'm saying that on this list, I think Grand Theft Auto 5 did more for games of the decade than Red Dead Redemption could have hoped to do, just because it was kind of piggybacking on the Grand Theft Auto 5 engine, right? You guys, I can't find it. I fucking can't find it, Adams. What's up, man? I just can't find my Santa hat. I'm sorry. I didn't really look too hard. I'm a Grinch, all right? I fucking hate Christmas.
It's because he's old.
I'm just kidding.
It's like
It's 'cause
I
I'm
understand what
Jewish.
you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Mike, but it's like it's kind of like if you look at like I don't know, did you play like The Witcher 3?
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. We're going off on tangent. Did you guys finish Grand Theft Auto 5? Both of you? The story mode?
The story, yeah.
Yep.
You both did? So all three of
Yeah.
us did. I think for the sake of this list, and like maybe me more so than you guys. You guys probably finish more games than I do, but like I don't know that we're all finishing like every game that we play. But we all three of us finished Grand Theft Auto 5, so I think for that reason it belongs on an influential or maybe a very deserving top, number 10 spot on the list. The next one.
The next one's an easy pick.
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Did you guys finish that?
Yeah,
I did.
No, I didn't make it.
But you're so close.
I'm so close, and that's the problem with all the games that I play. Is that I get about 90% of the way and put it down and never touch it again.
So, do you think a Zelda game, in general, belongs on the top 10 games of this past decade? Like,
the Zelda game in general, no. Breath of the Wild specifically, yeah.
Right, so not a Zelda game just for the sake of a Zelda game, but Breath of the Wild as
open world exploration in that style.
If it wasn't Zelda, you just got that same exact game but different characters. Is it still a great game?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that Horizon?
Kind of.
Close.
Similar, but still different.
First attempt, while that game, that was pushing at the same time that Breath of the Wild was pushing. People were looking at both of those games at the same time.
They came out right at literally a week apart from each other. I think the main difference is that I actually prefer I think that Horizon is a better game than Breath of the Wild, but I think that it doesn't do the impactful stuff that Breath of the Wild does.
Well, right, because Horizon was its own thing, and this was the first time you could do all these things in a Zelda game.
Exactly, Horizon is it's a really good typical
third-person action adventure game with RPG elements. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Where Breath of the Wild is the same thing, but it also has very unique systems that only Zelda can pull off. That I think push it over the edge. Or just the fact that at the very beginning of the game, if I want to, I can run immediately to the final boss and fight them right then.
Yeah.
And I can't do that in Horizon. I think that just right there separates the two.
Right. Which I
don't know that I would say one is better than the other. I just think that the way that Breath of the Wild puts all of their systems together into a game is more impactful than something like Horizon.
Right. And I think that with the way that Breath of the Wild did their open world, where you can literally start the game, see something, and just go.
Yep.
Including the final boss.
Yeah.
You can just go take a stab at it whenever the hell you want. I think, does this create a subgenre of game because of this game that's true open world? Where you can, in other open world games, you can't just go do the last mission.
You can't do the last mission, but GTA 5, for what it's worth, did give you the whole map from the start, which, there's a commonality we're seeing here already. These are the marks that you got to kind of hit if you want to be in the upper echelon of gaming. I don't want to spend too much time on each individual game, but I think we can all agree that this one absolutely earned its place on this list. And I also would like to say that we're using this list from Business Insider just because I found it while looking for topics for this week's podcast. And I think it's fun to all just discuss, real briefly, quickly, does it belong here? Why? What do we think about it? But I just would want to go out and say that if we're still doing this time next year, I think all three of us, being that we're kind of forcing ourselves to stay up to date with what's going on, I think this time next year we'll be qualified to make a pretty good list of what was good and what wasn't good in 2020. And
for sure.
I'm actually looking forward to doing that and making maybe our own little awards for the end of the year that we can, give out some awards to these, just to be like, hey, this is what we thought. So Breath of the Wild, definitely good game. Released on March 3rd. This says 3017. This article. So this game was released 1,000 years into the future.
Brought back to us.
That's how good it was. Next game, Fortnite. Yep, Fortnite's good. Okay, next game. No, I'm just kidding.
I
have not finished this one.
We talked about it. I don't know. I feel like Fortnite. I probably play I definitely play the most of Fortnite here with you guys. But like, yeah,
What do you
it
do,
just
like 1,000 hours a day?
like
Just shy.
Oh,
okay, just for reference, the other day I went into my Epic account to look
Mhm.
at my statements to see exactly how much money I've spent
ooh.
on
here we go.
Fortnite in the past, like it's coming up on like 2 years, I think, and it was like $1,400.
Wait, on Fortnite?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah,
I was just gonna ask, are you gonna disclose that information with us now? And
yeah.
sure
I mean,
did.
it's like, dude, and it's a free game, and
So-
I've literally like any other game that I've ever played. Like this is why I stopped playing like Call of Duty and NBA 2K is because they started introducing microtransactions, and I hated it. The idea of like spending money on a game that I had to pay for, and I literally think it's just because Fortnite is free. So like I'm so much more willing to put money into it because it's a free game that gives me a shit ton of stuff back. So it's
Right.
like, oh, I'll spend $10 here, I'll spend $20
So-
here, and then
Speaking,
Playing into
Oh.
gratitude,
yeah.
you feel more obligated to just give a little something back. Eh?
yeah, it's like, oh, there's a Batman skin, I gotta buy that. Like there's a Marvel skin, I have to buy that.
I
And
think
then
it's
all of a
great
sudden-
that you
Yeah.
shared how much you spent on the game.
Yeah, it's dude.
That's over the course of how long? Since you first
Since-
got it?
Yeah, I started playing it when it came out, but like that's since January of 2018.
Okay, so
So,
it was
like,
released
almost
July
2 years.
21st, 2017.
Yeah.
So
Which I played it then, I just didn't spend any money until January.
so far, 2 games from 2017 on this list of best games of the decade.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, like Fortnite does so much, it definitely like most impactful is like that's like an easy
So-
choice there.
Just for ha-has, with a fun little calculator here. Pop
Yeah.
basically bought a brand new game every month to keep playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
$58 and change.
oh, well that kind of proves their business model works then.
Yeah.
Because
I
I would
mean-
say that I spend, on average, maybe 1 game a month, and even though that number has kind of decreased lately, it was way more than that, farther back. So it does kind of even out to about a game a month.
And I wish I could
That's
a
a lot of people's gaming budget.
Yeah.
Working adults. I mean, not like kids. Obviously, they gotta wait for like their birthday and Christmas or buy used games. That's why buying used games is great, and I don't want it to ever go away. And that's the real reason for physical media.
For-
used,
yep.
yeah. As soon
I
as-
wish there was a way for me to go back in and go in and see exactly how many hours I've put into Fortnite because I feel like if I
it's all
were to
on PC.
justify- yeah, but like it's through Epic, so they don't I think they don't want you to know how many hours you're
No.
spending.
Speaking
I
of
really
Epic,
do
real
know.
quick, Epic is doing the 12 days of Christmas gifts.
Yeah,
Have you guys been getting the free games?
yeah.
Because right now, I just got the new one. It's super hot. That game's
yeah,
super, hot. That's a
Oh,
$25 game.
And also they have.
you been doing it,
on
Mike?
Top of
I checked it out the day that you texted me, I think.
Yeah.
I forget
Yeah.
what that was. But yeah, I also my kid's been playing Fortnite because of the Star Wars, and
Yeah.
it's like a Christmas tradition, he calls it.
Oh.
So he's been playing more Fortnite. So I keep telling him, check out the games, check out the games. What's on there? What's
Yeah.
on there?
because on top of the like Christmas thing where they're giving a game away every day, they also have the like 2 free games that they give away every month.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's those 2. I think it's like Wolf Among Us and something else. So yeah, there's like a lot of games you can get. But yeah, Fortnite's an easy pick for.
I don't-
most impactful.
I don't have a whole lot that I can say about Fortnite. So before we move on, I'll just read some numbers here. It looks like, well, this is the only real number to read. And at the time of the writing of this article, which was, just last week, Fortnite available for free, but the game has made, including Pop's $1,400, more than $2.5 billion for charging players for in-game items. So, I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself. When we're talking about gaming as an industry and this as a game company who gives a free game and still manages to employ so many people and generate so much revenue. There's something that got to be said about that, whether you like the game or not. And
Yeah.
I've got nothing really bad to say about it, except for I think the polarizing effect that it has on communities. Right? You've got PUBG people, you've got Fortnite people, and you've got people who don't care about battle royales, and then you've got smart individuals who know that the only good battle royale game is Tetris 99.
Tetris 99.
And then no, but in all honesty, Fortnite
Yeah.
belongs on this list. And that's not even touching it once. I downloaded it with the intention of playing it, and still have not. So, I still think that, there's a lot to be said about a game that's available for PC, Mac, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Android, and iOS. And I don't know why it couldn't be made available on PS3 and 360, but they're just probably like, yeah, fuck
They
that.
probably could if they wanted to be honest. Like,
Yeah, if it can be on an iPhone, then it could be on
Yeah.
anything. The next one, it's kind of boring for me. I don't know.
yeah.
League of
I don't-
Legends, huge in the esports thing.
Definitely.
I will
mean,
say-
it probably belongs on a list of top 10 most.
Yeah.
What is it? Best video games of the decade. See, so that's
most
where it gets.
impactful, I thought.
Most-
No, it's best
Okay,
video
okay.
games.
Yeah.
A lot of
Um,
people would say that this is one of the best.
I did see like League of Legends just had their like 10-year anniversary thing because I remember them promoting it on Twitch like a month ago or so. And I remember around that time there was something that came out that's like League of Legends as like a brand is like I think the most like the fifth most profitable like gaming brand ever. Like it's like in the last 10 years it's made like more money than like pretty much like Sonic, like
Yeah.
like all this stuff. Like it's like
It's
a
another
monster.
free game too.
Yeah, free game. Like you pay for characters, and it just
And this
it's
article
stuck
says-
around and we're
8 million players logging in to play every day.
Wow.
yeah
8 million a day.
yeah
And in the same climate, we've got games that are turning their servers off because they've got like 900 unique players or something. Just like can't afford to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said about the a la carte business model where you just pay for the things you want and come play for free, and that's what makes the player base so huge.
yeah.
You allure the players who will spend money to come play with the people who refuse to.
Yeah.
And like when we go down the list, like a lot of the games that like there's like 4 or 5 games on here that are like that, right?
like Minecraft? No, not Minecraft. That's the
No,
next one
but
though
like-
on the list.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry. League of Legends, released October
League of-
21st, 2009 on PC. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying
Oh.
like there's a lot of games on this list that are like of the same model. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this is like a trend of the last 10 years.
Yeah,
Free to play ish games that like
freemium.
freemium, yeah. That are
Um,
like super successful.
You guys get into Minecraft? Oh, do you agree League of Legends belongs on this list?
Yeah, I've never played it before,
Yeah.
but
We'll just
I
let it
get
be. We'll just let it exist there,
You can't have an esports following that big without
being in the
making
conversation.
impact
Yeah,
in the entire industry.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and talk about Minecraft because that's another one. Like I get it, it's huge. Past decade, okay, it's earned its spot. Yes, but I
Minecraft
can't
is
speak
re-
on it.
Minecraft is really fun.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to like explain because it's like I feel like it goes back to like your like child instincts of like why are Legos fun to play with?
yeah.
Like, why is constructing anything fun? And it's like
Yeah, that is
it's
fun.
that the game. It's just like, hey, like you can punch anything and it breaks, and then you can place it back down and build whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Or you can take these things and put them in a magic box. And...
Yeah,
If you go to PewDiePie's YouTube channel and go to his earliest videos, it's Minecraft.
Yep.
No camera, just Minecraft
That's-
footage.
that's how I got into like Twitch
PewDiePie?
and
No, I'm
like
just kidding.
no, yeah, no, but it was Minecraft. Like I was a freshman at college, and my roommate was an asshole and wouldn't let me use his TV, or like he like basically made the room up to where only he could see the TV, and so I had a really bad laptop on college Wi-Fi, and Minecraft was the only game that I
Oh
could
yeah, I
run.
remember you telling me that.
And so like I would play Minecraft, and I was like, I wonder if there's other people I can play with, and that's how I found like Twitch
Cool,
was
cool, man.
doing that. So
Yeah, Minecraft. I got nothing really bad to say about it.
yeah, and it's huge. And YouTube just did their like YouTube Rewind thing or whatever, and they did like a bunch of top 10 list or whatever. And Minecraft was the most watched video game of 2019 by like a mile. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even close. Like I think it was like 10 billion views or something. It was like something insane where it's like it's still 10 years later still just as popular.
So Microsoft in 2014 purchased Minecraft for $2.5 billion,
Yeah.
and it seems to be working out for them. I think.
Yeah.
Released November 18th of 2011, Minecraft is playable. Are you ready for this one? PC,
Everything.
Mac, Linux, Android, iOS, Xbox 360, Raspberry Pi, Windows phones, PS3, Fire OS. Yeah, remember that? No, you don't. PS4, Xbox One, Vita, Universal Windows platform. So just, that's as a platform. Okay. Wii U. Oh, Wii U. Apple TV, Nintendo Switch, and the new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
Why? Just the new Nintendo 3DS?
Yeah,
There's one of those confusing fucking dumb things about it.
I know.
Ooh, here's one. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim,
Yep.
needs to be here.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the limited run release that they're doing for Skyrim?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I still haven't
I
gotten
called
mine
them
yet.
about it, but they haven't responded yet.
That's so weird.
I actually asked them when they were going to be shipping it out, and my computer melted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that? All the games that you bought from them in the past burst into flames?
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, what can really be still said about Elder Scrolls that hasn't been said already, or Skyrim specifically?
I feel like these games groundbreaking.
Hold on, your mic cut out like when
Yeah.
you said that.
Oh. You hear me?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
no, I hear you. It cut out.
Yeah, I feel like all the games on this list are either like a really groundbreaking idea, like Breath of the Wild or something,
Or they just make a lot of money.
just available on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Minecraft, Fortnite. I mean,
Here's another one: PC, Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and VR systems.
yeah,
Released on November 11th, 2011. I mean, Skyrim kind of, to me, is the open world. Like, that's the game that made me feel like I'm truly
Yeah.
in an open world where
I
I'm going to
still
do
have-
this thing, and yeah, there's a marker on a compass telling me which way to go. But if I see something interesting, I'm going to go over there and check it out, like almost every single time. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, I could fast travel, but I find myself not really
Not
fast
wanting
traveling
to.
that much. It was so fun to kind of live. I mean, it may sound sad to non-gamers, but there was a second life being lived over there in that game, and I was
Yeah.
eager to get to it every single day.
Right.
So
It's funny too because the screenshot that they use for Skyrim
it's the Switch,
is he's in the
Zelda
pink
garb.
outfit. Yeah, and it's like it's funny because I feel like playing Breath of the Wild was the first game that gave me like the same type of feelings that I got when I played Skyrim for the first time. And it's just like I think it's just that like idea of like I don't like I think I've probably put like 1,000 hours into Skyrim. I don't think I've ever actually beaten the game.
Yeah, me neither.
Like because the story is kind of like whatever. I just have so much fun like running around. It's like, oh, what's this camp over here? Let me go. Oh, it gave me a mission. Now I'm a fucking werewolf. Like it's just like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know. That game's so great.
Um,
I'm a big fan.
it belongs here on this list.
Yeah.
Agreed? You guys got a problem with that one?
Nope.
no.
Oh, how about this next one? A little
Dude, this
game
shouldn't
called
be
The
on
Last
air.
of Us.
No, I'm kidding.
Ooh.
Did you guys finish The Last of Us?
Never, dude. Those
Nine.
Naughty Dog people don't know what they're doing, man.
Yeah. Um, it's this is on my number one. This is my number one. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that. It's no secret. I mean, and
It's
again,
up there for me.
I've been saying it over and over again. It's one of the best games ever, but it's not my favorite game to play. It is. I mean, one of them. I love playing it, but I'm not really having fun or thinking happy thoughts when I'm playing it. It's kind of depressing, and it just takes you. It's an emotional roller coaster.
Right. Okay, so the other games that we're looking at are either innovative or available on every next turn that we take and talk about, in-depth storytelling and mood building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to really respect these two guys over at Business Insider for their capabilities of putting a list together, because they're not just taking.
Whatever
What?
sold the most.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and this thing sold well. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And it's available on two consoles and technically PC if you're using PlayStation Now.
Right.
I
So
just
this
think it's
one
like,
I'm actually excited about because this was part of the bundle that I picked up over the Black Friday season, and I actually have not played through this game. I've only seen people play it.
well,
You got to
okay.
play it, Mike.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to dive into, like I said, because the stories on these games are supposed to be so great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like
Play
this
it on
is a game.
the easiest mode and just get through the story. Fuck it.
Yeah. This is a game where, like,
Like playing
even if
Grounded
you know,
and throw your controller across the room.
even if you know how the story plays out, I feel like playing it is just like emotionally, it's like its own like thing. Like I can watch somebody play this game, but then when I go and sit down and play it myself, even though I know what's gonna happen and I know
You still get that feeling.
everything, it's like
Yeah.
the feelings that it like brings out to you in you because it's such a good story, like the way they tell the story and like the way they make you connect with the characters and stuff. It's like it's even if you know what's gonna happen, it's still like worth playing.
And if you
try,
watch,
That's-
like I try to play this like once every year. Like
if you
I go
watch the
back and try to-
documentary on the
Oh, it's
on
so
the
good.
game, yeah, it's
Documentary,
really good. But they also they really drive it home that they're telling the story through cinematic cutscenes and very convincing voice actors. But they're also telling you the story. They're making you feel certain emotions via your thumbs. Like you play these parts that are just like, the game was marketed as like, yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic, post-pandemic kind of situation. Yeah, there's guns, but good luck finding bullets. And it really is that way to where you get to the point where like, I gotta sneak around these motherfuckers because I only have 3 bullets and there's 6 guys. Like,
Yep.
and they make you feel like stressed out and high tension. Like I gotta, and then you start because I remember playing that game and like getting legitimately scared when a clicker would kill me. And then
Yeah.
it gets to the point where it's like, all right, now it's starting to feel like a game because I got killed by this thing 7 different times, and you start getting annoyed like with that stupid music, like when you die, like that death music, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make you want to quit. It makes you want to fucking get past this shit,
Yeah.
And they do it in such a good way to where like you're feeling like very rarely does the game take a cheap shot at you. Like they put you in all these very difficult situations, but it's believable. It's not like, oh,
Right.
fucking bullshit. Everybody knows fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit happens in lots of games. That's fucking bullshit. Yeah, not this one. So play
And-
it, everybody, if you haven't played it.
This is something too that like I feel like we haven't really like touched on with a lot of these games that I think is true, but like specifically this one, like the music in this game is so good. Like I found myself like where it's like if I
Untouchable.
if I have like a Saturday where it's like, oh, I have to like do like random shit around the house or whatever, like I find myself sometimes just like putting on the soundtrack to this game. It's like so good. I can't explain it. It's just really really good, and it's like so unique. Like you hear it, and then you're immediately like, oh, this is the Last of Us music, because
Yeah.
nothing
Oh
else
yeah.
really
When
sounds
you
like
hear that
it.
guitar, like there's no way they could ever try and like if they're gonna play
Yeah,
that detuned guitar and try and fake you out on like what a game is gonna be, like I'll know right then and there. You know,
yeah.
like when they panned out and showed the stop sign with the Fireflies logo as the reveal for Last of Us
Oh my
Part
god.
Two. Um, if they had been playing the music, it would have been a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, I would say like if we were grading the game, no matter what scale you're using, 10 out of 10 for music and sound design for that game. Like
Yeah, fantastic.
maybe I think honestly for me, story gets a 10. Um, replay value is I would say um, medium to like mildly high, replay
Yeah.
value. But sound design, audio, like 10, 10. Gameplay is where
Mm.
you get like a 9 or an
Yeah.
8.5 because like, you know, it's
There's
a
the
PS3 game and it's
Ellie
Right.
not being able to swim is kind of like, all right, like,
yeah, let's
like,
gamify. Let's get
yeah,
well, you have to solve this puzzle, but she can't swim, so like figure it out. And
yeah.
uh
Right.
I don't want to get too
It's not
spoilery. I
perfect.
mean, Mike, you said you've watched people play it, but it's
Yeah.
it's aside from that stuff, no jump
It's really
button.
good.
You can't jump. You can jump, but only when the game says you can jump. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's
Yeah,
but it doesn't take away from the story, and that's the important part. Like the game could have been a movie, it could have been a book. It kind of was a
100%.
comic book in a way. There was a prequel
Yeah.
comic book. Uh, it could have been
Uh,
anything, and the fact that it's a game is just thank God, thank God
yeah.
it's a game.
Mm.
The also, Mike, like I know you said you got it with like a bundle or whatever, so you should have the DLC as well, and like don't like skip out on that either, because like
Oh,
that's
so
like
good, so good,
it
and it opens up.
rivals the game complete. Like it's just as good or even better than like the like game. It's like its own contained thing, but like
Nice.
it's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, do you think you can get through that and the DLC before Part Two comes out in May?
In May?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think
I
you
mean,
can
I
get through
would
the game in
like.
like 10, 15 hours or something like that.
Yeah, knowing what to do, I feel like I can beat the game in like with the DLC. I could probably do it in like 10, but like first time playthrough, like
Oh, I played
maybe
for a
like
while.
15.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are some difficult parts, especially if you don't know exactly what you're doing. Like you like what Mark said, you'll die quite a few times, but like
Right.
it's not like a very long game. Like I don't think you're gonna spend like 20, 30 hours on it.
Right.
Unless you do what Mark said and play fucking grounded first time through. Then maybe. But
You guys got
Yeah,
anything
I
else?
am-
Oh, go ahead.
I am super interested in the like I said, I think it's the storytelling that draws me to like most of the Naughty Dog games.
yeah.
Right.
So-
And I think this one does the best of like I think The Last of Us is way better with gameplay than Uncharted, where it's like the shooting in Uncharted is kind of like it's like not the best. I don't know. Where it's like this, like what Mark was saying earlier, like you kind of can't just like go in guns blazing. Like it kind of makes you play stealth, and I think that like benefits the game greatly.
Right.
Um, but yeah, the story is definitely what I don't know. I could talk about The Last of Us.
Yeah,
for 2
me too.
hours.
We could have a whole spoiler cast on that one. Adamson, what's going on? Uncharted is sacred here. What's up, Adamson? We're talking about Business Insider's list of the top 10 games of the decade. And next on the list is Pokemon Go. And I also kind of can't disagree with this one, the impact that it had in this decade of gaming. Oh, by the way, Last of Us released on June 14th, 2013. But just 2 short years later, July 6th, 2016, Pokemon Go was given to the world. And I played it for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. But it took over for a little while. People still play it.
It
Right.
did. I
Right?
think it was
there was a new update.
Yeah, I think it was a good like launching point for a lot more people to jump into mobile gaming. Like I feel like even if like I don't play a lot of mobile games at all, and when Pokemon Go came out, I had to try it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a phenomenon.
Mhm.
Pokemon out there in the world, and I actually have to walk around and go find them.
Yeah.
My God.
It's pretty cool. Do you think that there's any kind of future for GPS games outside of Pokemon Go? Do you think that they'll utilize that in a different way? That will
I
do
think
like a similar
Pokemon-
thing?
Yeah, I think Pokemon was like a really great way to do it because
Yeah.
you're looking for characters, and that's like the point of all the Pokemon games. It's like you want to go out there, you want to find
Gotta
these
catch
things.
them all.
Yeah, you gotta catch them all. You gotta. I mean,
So
so I feel like that was really good. But other GPS, like because there were games before that were GPS
Yeah.
based games, and I think those were things like you go to a place and perform a battle of some kind to claim it, and that's like what the GPS aspect was. Like it
Right.
needs you to be in proximity of this location instead of I could be anywhere and find this thing pop up,
right.
which is why I felt like Pokemon had a good shot at it.
And there's been games that have come out since, right? Like, I think the same company that worked on Pokemon Go also did like a Harry Potter
That's what Adamson just brought up in the chat.
Yep.
game, and then there's also the Minecraft one as well. I don't know if that's like fully released or if it's still in beta, but like there's a same idea, but just Minecraft. And those haven't been as successful, and I think it's just because like Pokemon has such a big fan base and it lends itself so well to this type of game that it was like
Yeah.
almost like the perfect match. I don't know that you'll ever get something that's like as perfect
Right.
as that.
I feel like you could try and pull off more things like this, but I feel like you'd run into like the same problem you run into like with a lot of RPGs and stuff where they're filling out the blank space in between wherever they want you to go to with like random encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that stuff just gets old after a while.
Yeah, I didn't find it particularly engaging. I heard some cool stories about people who would, meet up with friends and then go walk around places and do the whole thing together. I mean, if it's something that gets people going outside and hanging out together, I mean, it's great. It just
When it
Wasn't my
first
thing.
came out, it was wild. Like there was like you would like pull like, oh, there's a Pokemon, I forgot what they're called,
oh
like
the
center or whatever, like over here, and you would pull up and there would be like 15 cars at like a church at
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, everybody's here playing Pokemon right now. Like this is why everyone's here. It was like a cool, like weird
Yeah,
experience.
I actually have. Across the street from my house is a church that was a Pokestop, and I
Yeah.
saw people there at all hours, like to the point where I saw two teenage kids hanging out at like 2:30 in the morning, just sitting out there,
looking at their phones.
just getting them Pokeballs, man. Just wait 5 more minutes, get them Pokeballs again.
Dang.
All right, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that it was a cultural phenomenon,
Yeah.
and
It was huge.
I think also earned its place on a list of games of the decade, released in 2016.
It was amazing how much it got people outside too. Like there were people making discoveries and things, finding, maybe not things they necessarily wanted to, but like, somebody died and they found them here. Nobody would have known they were there, except there was a Squirtle here. So
Moving on from Pokemon, the next one is maybe the most controversial on the list, but
That was my gut reaction too. But
it
then
makes
I thought
sense.
of like
It makes
I
sense.
thought of-
It's
yeah.
Candy Crush,
Candy Crush.
released
And I thought
April
of
12th,
one-
2012.
I thought of one thing that like the second I thought of it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. This is why it's on the list. Is like my mom plays Candy Crush,
yeah,
and my mom doesn't play games.
And it says
She
it
has
here.
no-
It's most responsible for getting people who don't play games to play games.
Exactly,
Right.
and I feel like that's like enough to like have it on this list. Is like the fact that like my mom, who never would be interested in any type of video game or anything, like plays Candy Crush and like enjoys it and likes it, I think is like enough
Yeah.
to get it.
I mean,
It's the Wii approach.
with the track record of this list, and we were just complimenting the authors of this article, I think you got to give this one the same credit, because to say that Candy Crush doesn't count in this conversation or in the space of gaming is to say that Tetris doesn't belong. Like, it's just a
Right.
puzzle game where you're trying to clear rows, and it's a fun, addictive game. And this one's very colorful, intuitive controls, sound is there, very bright, and I've actually I played Candy Crush for a little while just to fuck around, just see what the deal was, and I personally am I like Bejeweled better, but
Me too.
Candy Crush is
I also think it's
Bejeweled or a Columns all day.
Columns, wasn't that on Sega Genesis?
Yes, it was.
see also big
had it on
Jelly
Game
Dr.
Bean guy.
Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which is also Puyo Puyo.
Yeah, I got addicted to Jelly Splash.
Is it the same type of thing?
Literally the same exact thing, just instead
It's
of
like
candy,
a match
it's
3
little
or match 4 or whatever.
jelly figure. Yeah, it's exactly the same. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it also came out too. Like, I think the success of Candy Crush also has to do with like the rise of the smartphone, where it's like
Yeah.
kind of like the game to play when smartphones came out. It's like it was solid, like it's a good, like functional game, and it's like I have this thing that can play this thing all the time.
Right. Just like back in the early 2000s, everyone was playing Snake
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love Snake.
because it came on
Exactly.
every phone.
I actually
So-
have it for the watch.
Still playing Snake.
That's right.
God damn.
Yeah, I mean, Candy Crush made its way there. It's cool.
Yeah.
The last one on the list is Dark Souls, and while I agree,
See, I
that-
think this is the most controversial one.
well, I mean, it changed kind of like what the definition of a good game could mean, right? Because some people would play these types of games and fucking destroy their controller,
Yeah.
where others, maybe the people who like these games, this saved gaming for them in the sense that all the other stuff was too easy and not a challenge and therefore boring and repetitive. You gotta have
Yeah.
patience and really, focus on what you're doing to
Right.
play a Dark Souls game.
I
still have to try it. I've yet to really play one.
Yeah. See, I tried to play Dark Souls and I wasn't a fan. I liked Bloodborne a lot more, and it's like same people from software.
From Software, yeah.
They make both of them, and it's like the same style of game. It's just a little bit faster paced. Where Dark Souls is like much slower.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the one thing that you can say about and I don't even know if you can say that it was like Dark Souls or Demon Souls, which was before Dark Souls, but like Dark Souls definitely like created a genre of like Souls games, right? Like they made that genre of game, and like I feel like I guess you can like throw that in there where it's like I think it's weird to be on this list because it's such a like niche category of like people that will enjoy it. Like there's a lot of people that will immediately be out of the game because of how difficult it is.
Yeah.
But like that being said, like they are good games. Like it's not like they're like all the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Sekiro just won Game of the Year this year at the Game Awards, right? Like their game is like their Souls type game is really good.
Yeah, this article even points out that like some games, regardless of their genre, if they're difficult or challenging, are labeled as Souls games. I think a fine example of that is Cuphead, even though that could fall under like the bullet hell
Yeah.
kind of.
Right.
It's actually more about memorization of boss battles. Like that's really what you're up against there with Cuphead. So, like, there's an
Right.
example of how it doesn't need to be this 3D, really medieval looking, like
Yeah.
this hulking character with armor, like you said, Mike, like walking up concrete steps again. Like
Mhm.
that's what the
Yeah, and the
Oh,
thing about
Neo. I downloaded Neo.
the
Yeah.
Dark Souls games that gets me is like the only thing I ever hear about these games is that they're exactly that. You have to have a methodical approach and just learn what you're doing. So really they just invented a fighting system that requires you to pay absolute attention. Because I never hear anybody talk about the story of Dark Souls is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and
It-
it's doesn't look super great either. I mean, everything's kind of dark and dingy
Muddy.
and
Yeah.
fucked up and supposed to be spooky looking, but some of it just comes off kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah,
So,
maybe
I
so this
mean-
would be the controversial entry onto the list. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely made its like place in gaming,
Yeah.
Right.
but
Like, even
it's
the
very
new-
niche, you know. It's a
Yeah.
The
certain
new Star Wars game is like people compared it a lot, like the combat style, like dodging and
Mhm.
parrying and stuff. Like it got compared to like a Souls type game.
Right.
And people love that
And like
game.
it does like I've played the first one, and it does have like the story is like really interesting there. Like it has a lot of like really good lore, and like it's just like the way they go about it's like it's weird because it's its own thing. Like all the story is like environmental, so you like pick up a weapon and that weapon will tell you like 4 or 5 paragraphs of like the lore behind it or how it got there or who had it before you got it, and like that stuff is really interesting, but like you can completely miss some of that stuff. You
Right.
don't have to read any of it. It's not like a here's a cutscene and here's a piece of the story and now you go on.
Right.
Which it's also that's also like a very unique thing to like the Souls type games that like some people really like, some people don't like sitting through cutscenes.
Yeah.
You know, they much rather have like this thing that they can go look at and read themselves.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I see it on the list. I just think it's like out of all these games, it's the most limiting one because you have to like there's a few barriers that you have to cross to like be into it. But like that being said, I can't say like Dark Souls is a bad game.
Well, yeah,
or,
I
like,
mean the
Right, or, like-
lists intrinsically are subjective, and the list
Yeah.
is of it's a list of games which are subjective, whether they're good or bad. I guess the real question would be, you know, given how good we thought this list was, like if Dark Souls is the weakest link, then what would go in its place? Would that then render a different title the weakest link on the list, or can we think of something that really rounds it out and evens it out better than like a Dark Souls would?
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about
Right.
games of the decade. You have to kind of pay attention. That game came out in what was it, 2012 or 2011?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2011. So, you know, it was there at the beginning of the decade. Like at that point in time, was there anything more like revolutionary or better? Like, because we could go into our favorite games
Right.
of the
Yeah.
past decade, but this is kind of saying like what games made their mark in a big way, and that's where I have to agree for Dark Souls being on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said,
exactly.
it made its own genre of game. Like, and it's kind of like a meme at this point. Like people will compare. Like people will literally like say like, well, this is the Dark Souls of blank category. Like, it's so unique that it's like it's become its own thing. And I think like for that reason, I definitely see it like being on here.
Yeah, because you know what you don't see is you don't see any Call of Duties or Battlefields. You don't see
Yeah.
any Maddens or like any sports games or anything like that. Like it looks like a lot of consideration was put into this list, and that's why
Yeah.
I think
For
it's,
sure.
Um,
And I think
ahead,
when you look at this list and you talk about the games themselves, if you were to call it best games and that's it, I have to disagree with Dark Souls, especially being at the top. But if
Whoa,
you
whoa,
say
but this wasn't really a countdown.
Yeah, I don't know that
Right,
this
right,
is like
okay.
a
But okay, so
top 10, but
It was just
Either
the last
way,
one.
if
on
you're
the
gonna
list.
throw it
right.
in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that it's not Dark Souls itself. Oh, I'm gonna say it's not Dark Souls itself. I'm gonna say that Dark Souls being on the list just represents that players are willing to take on a bigger challenge with games now.
Hmm.
They're willing to invest more and pay more attention to the detail and really put forth the effort to finally get it done.
yeah.
And I think that's what everyone talks about when they say this is the souls of whatever.
You're right.
They're referring to this game actually says, hey, pay attention, this will be difficult, you might have to try it a couple times.
Right. I would say that God of War is the Dark Souls of more accessible third-person action gaming. Meaning,
Yeah.
it's that, like I said before, Mike, that it's that style of combat, but without the big
Yeah.
bad barrier of entry. Like, yeah, you don't.
Right.
You
They
can
just
just
open the windows a little more.
Right.
Whereas when you talk about Dark Souls, you're
gotta
talking
be
about
precision.
skating through.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go into the last topic?
I think we can hit on it real quick. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how much there is to really go in.
It just seems
I'm
like
just
I've
saying,
read
are we gonna go on longer than that? I'm gonna propose a quick little bathroom break. Maybe get a drink.
Yeah.
Throat's getting sore.
I'm down for that.
All right, let's take a quick little.
Intermission.
Yeah.
Yep.
Try to get some music playing, but of course there's a 30-second ad that wants to play on Twitch. Nope, it's actually showing me all the games that are available on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So,
That's a nice change for one.
I guess.
Listen, after you watch that girl freak out at Coke Gaming so many,
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I don't believe her excitement anymore.
let me see if this works. Oh. Nice. All right, I'll be right back. Back at it again.
Hey,
I'm glad
Such
I did that.
perfect timing.
Why?
Any
Cheers.
longer, and I was going to try and get an over.
cheers.
This guy busted out another twisted tea.
Dude, this is my third one today. If I finish this one,
Woo!
I'm gonna be
It's a party now.
yeah. This is the like I'm starting to send like texts to like people I don't send text to.
Oh boy.
That's never dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, this if you're just joining us, la da 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 bullshit.
Where you been?
So the headline here from TechSpot.com says Russia's third largest internet company is suing Twitch for $3 billion, and they would like to see Twitch banned in the country. Over
Really?
copyright violations. And really what this all comes down to is that some people streamed British Premier soccer games, which
Yeah.
maybe not as much in America, but all over the world,
Super
huge.
Sure.
It's one of the most popular things that exists. And I could see why they wouldn't want their viewer base going to watch it somewhere else where they weren't getting a piece of the action.
Right.
But to sue Twitch for that, I mean, yeah, Twitch should probably regulate that a little bit better. But I don't know, how many viewers
Yeah.
came to Twitch to watch it? And
Yeah.
if that was the case, like, was it that hard to go find those users? And,
Yeah.
you know, like, how hard is it to isolate the culprits here? It's not Twitch's fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Twitch knows about it, they're going to remove it.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. Like, if you read the article, it's like comes down to it's like, yeah, like it's clearly against terms of service. Like, you
Yeah.
aren't allowed to do that, and
Yeah.
if it gets reported, the account will get banned. So it's like Twitch is like actively doing stuff to like stop this. They're just saying, hey, we don't think the stuff that you're doing is good enough. But it's like, I don't know that they have like a case there. It's like,
Yeah, there's rules in place already. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be done. You can't stop everybody from doing everything they're not supposed to all the time. It's
Exactly.
impossible. So, yeah, somebody put it up on their stream. Sure. Will the account get banned?
Probably.
And as they should, because the rules are there. But for them
like,
to try and sue after what the article says was no official, word from them that they needed to do anything about it, they just took it upon themselves. Twitch did.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So if they're not even going to send any official notification to them to be like, hey, then I really don't think sending them a thing that says, we're going to sue the shit out of you is really going to do anything.
Yeah, it's almost like the same thing with limited run, but with different ingredients,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I also think
which
it's
is
like,
unfortunate for you if you were trying to get your game.
I also think it's like pretty like important here in the article too that it, like specifies that the amount of times that the like contract was breached and not the amount of views. Where I feel like it's like, okay, hey, like it was breached 36,000 times, but like how many of those times was like one person who had like a bot in their channel that streamed the game for like a minute and then got banned, right? Like it's like they don't
Yeah.
really go into that, and I feel like that's probably most of the cases.
I know.
Well, it's
I mean, was
Thousands of people are watching this soccer game for free on Twitch, and like nobody's doing anything about it. Like I don't think that's the case.
well. Let's take that into consideration, right? What's your average viewership for a random channel on Twitch? I mean, it's hard to say, but you're talking like somebody who's doing pretty well will have like a couple hundred viewers, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Somebody who's doing extremely well will have like 25,000 viewers. But let's just call it. Let's call it
You said
100. Let's just say there's 100 viewers per channel and it happened 36,000 times, right? Let's say that 36,000 bars across the world showed your soccer games at their bar, and in each bar it was at full capacity of 100 people. Okay. Does that generate $3 billion to your company, to your established British Premier Soccer League? Does that generate $3 billion in revenue?
I
And
certainly hope not.
I
Or
feel
they're
like
way overpaying for it.
I know that a bar, right? If a bar wants to buy a pay-per-view event, like a fight, they can't just buy it for the $50 that it costs for me and you to buy it, because they're obviously going to show it to a lot more people. So they want whatever the full capacity of the bar is times 50.
Right.
So is that what they're doing when a bar puts on that channel and shows the soccer game in the bar? Or
No,
do they
I'm
just
sure
put the
they do.
soccer game on and show it to all these people who get to watch it for free, which is effectively what they're doing on Twitch? And you get into this whole other conversation of what's fair use, right? Somebody coming to your channel and paying you to watch the soccer game there, or are they just watching it for free? Like, you could go to their house and watch it for free too.
Right. Exactly.
It's a real fuzzy line, and it's like, I understand that you're not getting the ad revenue that you would get from showing it in additional places, and it's taking away from people who could potentially be watching it where your ads are going to get played. But I feel like anybody who's going for like an underhanded way to kind of go around and watch soccer, if they don't have, or anything for that matter, is not your target audience for advertising. So like,
Yeah.
it's like a snake trying to swallow its own tail. It's just, you know.
And a lot of companies too, like nowadays, actually like almost like they don't encourage it, right? But like they'll embrace the number. So it's like obviously like these big companies have data. So like the UFC, right? Like whenever there's a UFC fight, like millions of people will like illegally download or like stream or watch the UFC fight, right? And so like rather than like trying to fight those individual cases and doing all that stuff, they just use it as like a metric of like, hey, we sold 3 million pay-per-views today, but we also had 10 million illegal downloads. And so like they use it as like a number to almost promote like, hey, like there's clearly like a lot of interest here in
Yeah.
this thing. And it's just like I don't know, like I feel like I'm every podcast I'm on, I'm gonna like I at some point have to throw out this word, but I just feel like it's a very like boomer take on like oh, like do kids on the internet are watching the soccer game for free? We gotta sue. Like
Yeah.
where it's just like that's kind of like how everything is now. Like everything gets like
Well, that gets into
you
the
know,
same
like any
territory
big
as
event is gonna
China
get
trying to put regulations on like kids playing video games. It's like that same, you know, oh, this is happening and we don't know a lot about it, so we're just gonna say no. You know,
Yeah.
whereas you could partner up with Twitch and probably like do like your numbers, you do something really great for them. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, you see how many people are watching public access Bob Ross episodes?
Right. Instead of coming at this as a take this stuff off of here, they should be coming to it and saying,
Okay, let's
hey, we
figure
saw
out how
that
we can make
people
this.
are interested here.
Yeah.
How about we make an official thing where you send us the monies and we let you stream it on the platform?
But
Yeah.
no, it's Amazon. They've got billions of dollars. Give us some. Give us some,
Yeah.
even though we didn't
The,
earn it.
Right.
the NFL's doing that, right? Like every Thursday night,
Yep.
the NFL games are streamed on Twitch.
Yeah.
And
on
like
the,
they advertise
fine.
them like
Smart.
when you go into a stream, the ad roll before will be about the game that night. Like
Yeah.
it's like
And they
I don't know
have sponsored streamers that they
Yeah.
pay to watch
to
the
like
game.
commentate the game and like watch
Exactly.
with their hands. Yeah, I just think this is like a terrible way to like handle like a situation like this.
What's
Yeah,
up, Dre?
I really think it could have been an opportunity, and instead they're just like they're drawing that line in the sand and saying we're on this side, you're on. Unless you got some money for us, you can't come on.
Yeah,
And I don't think that Twitch is going to care.
yeah.
They're going to say you got no case here in court. There's no prior, you know, cease and desist or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, looks like in 2017, the Daily Motion, which was a Twitch-like website, was permanently blocked in Russia after doing the same shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Twitch definitely doesn't want their website to get blacklisted in a whole country.
No, definitely not.
But at the same time, I don't think Amazon is ready to be taking like monetary threats from Russia. I think they're going to be like, wait a minute. Oh, you want to ban Twitch in your country? All right. How about we stop shipping shit to your country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens then. Imagine if somebody told you right now, like, Amazon's gone, but just for you. What do you do? I'm going to be like, what? No, I use that service. I mean, most people, I feel like, would. Oh, you know what's really cool? On a side note, I was in the city when I sent you that picture of Mean Girls on Broadway.
Yes. Can't wait.
We were walking by, and there's a new Amazon Go store. Have you seen these things?
I've heard about them, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen one yet.
So I walk into, it's finally open. I walk into the store, and the guy who's working in there says, "Oh yeah, you just either download Amazon Go app or you just use the Amazon app and scan this barcode." So I do that, and these little doors open up and let me in the store. Okay, like it's like an internet cafe. But then if you want to go into the store section, you scan your Amazon app onto this little barcode reader.
Right.
Once you're in there, you look up at the ceiling, it's fucking hundreds of cameras and like eyes in there. And anything that you pick up physically off the shelf goes into a virtual cart on your
Yep.
app. And if you put it down, it goes out of your cart. And if you walk out of the store with it, you bought it. You effectively
Yeah.
can't steal from this fucking store. I'm like, I know there's going to be a lot of people who have a lot of problems with this, and they're probably going to be unwarranted because they're ill-informed. But Amazon made a store where you can't fucking steal. And if you do intend on stealing from it, you need to commit like way more serious crimes to even get into the store because you need to use an Amazon. So you have to like either steal somebody's phone, you know?
Yeah.
I'm wondering when the facial recognition technology gets good enough to where they could say from a distance, yeah, you scanned in with that phone, but you're not affiliated with that person whatsoever. Like, why do you have their phone? Like, now we just helped
That's-
solve two crimes.
Yeah, that's the next two-step. The next two-step is going to be, oh, you're signed in with this, but your face doesn't match the name on this account?
Something's
hold up.
fishy. Yeah.
When
cool.
when those stores first came out, I remember like I think it was like they just there was one in Seattle that they did like a test of. It's like it was the only one at the time, and they were literally like encouraging people. They're like, if you like manage to steal something from the store, we're okay with it. Like
Great, go ahead and try.
we try because we want to make sure that we're down. And there was like YouTubers that were like, okay, we figured out a way to like we know how the system works, we're going to try to steal, and like they'd go in and try to do it and like couldn't, like it wouldn't work.
yeah.
So
and-
yeah, like
I mean, even if you could somehow manage to trick the cameras into thinking that you didn't pick it up, they got like scales and lasers
Yeah.
that tell like this is how many were on the shelf and now there isn't. Like it didn't just fucking disappear. Somebody's in the
Right.
stores got the shit. Because I
And
think that would be your
kinda
best
makes me
bet.
wonder.
Your best bet would be if like 100 people were crammed in there and everybody just starts grabbing stuff. Like maybe it wouldn't work then, but I think that's the
Yeah.
point of scanning yourself in. Oh, sorry, store's at the capacity right now. You're gonna have to wait.
yeah, I think there's like a limit of like how many people are allowed in the store at once.
Yeah, I think you could go into the little cafe part and hook up to their Wi-Fi, and do all their shit, but
Yeah.
but getting into the actual where the products are, like I wanted to try it, so I picked up a little iced coffee almond milk latte thing. I'm like, I'll just grab this, and I'm like looking at my cart to see like if it did anything, and it didn't. And I walk out. There's signs in there. This was in Manhattan. There's signs in there that says, "Go ahead, take it." You know? It's like, go ahead and walk out with it. You don't have to trust me. It's okay, basically.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes. We were walking back to Grand Central. We got 5 minutes down the road, and I got an email, and here's a receipt for the thing I just bought. Cool. I was so into it. Like,
Yeah.
I was telling the guys at work, I work with these old timers. You know, this one guy, he's a mechanic. He's actually really into like technology and stuff, but he's like, I don't really like that. And I'm like, I understand why you don't like that, but if everybody in the world didn't like that, we wouldn't have anything cool.
That's true.
Like I don't know. I don't think Amazon, like, maybe when it comes to making money and how they do it, maybe they're a little underhanded, but I don't think they're a nefarious company who's trying to, like,
No.
I don't know that they're trying to rule the world. I just think that that's in their cards. Like, I
Yeah,
think
it
they might.
just happens that way.
It's like them or Disney.
Didn't they start as like college books?
It was
as
a
a
way to get
bookstore?
used books. Amazon was
Yeah.
like you could buy other people's used books. Maybe college textbooks was what made it blow up, but like
That's
it
what
was-
I remember from it was college textbooks.
Now it's literally
it's
anything,
everything. Yeah.
except retro gaming.
Right.
You don't want to buy shit there because they have like, oh, here's a brand new copy of Chrono Trigger. It's only $700. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, Alex, may I have things I didn't ask for $200?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, the thing that I wonder about with like that Amazon store is like I didn't know they had a limit on how many people could be in there, which
I don't
makes
even know
sense.
if that's true, but it just seems like that would
It
be.
was when it first came out. They definitely had a limit on how many people were allowed in. I don't know if that's.
Right.
I'm going off of like the very first store that opened. Like
Because my
They were, like,
concern
really testing
wouldn't
it.
be like people trying to steal things. My concern, like, the customer going in there would be like, what if I pick something up and put it back, or
Back.
don't put it back where it belongs, and then still get charged for it when I leave because it's
So-
not where they were looking for it?
the like when
I'm
it
sure
when
that's
they
gonna happen,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean, it has.
but I think they'll figure it out because
when it first came out, I remember like one of the videos that I watched. Like that's how somebody ended up. Like there was like one guy who ended up like I think he ended up stealing like a pack of like baby wipes or something, and like that's how he did it. Where it was like somebody picked it up and like decided they didn't want it and had set it down like not in the same place that they had picked it up at, and then like
Right.
he picked it up and for whatever reason like it didn't register. It was like, you know, like if somebody in the store misplaces something like and you pick it up, like there's
Yeah,
no way
I
of
mean,
them knowing.
so-
Right.
But I'm sure they had like since then, like this was like 2 years ago. Or
Right.
something.
Yeah,
I'm sure
like,
they've like figured
if
out
you or
some
I-
way to handle that.
Like if you and I go into the store and work as a team and try and sleight of hand things,
Yeah.
like they never saw you pick it up, but you're the one that leaves with it, and I picked it up, but I don't leave with it, and you don't know where it went.
yeah, I mean,
what
there's
happens
always
there?
you're gonna get people that are gonna try and do that, but I think the average person, like, here's the thing: you go into the store, it's not like there's a bunch of Kindles on the shelf
Right.
or like any fucking TVs or games or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like a convenience store, like a
Convenience store.
CVS almost. You know what I mean? Like they got gum and candy and little sandwiches and wraps and drinks and
Like a to-go shop.
yeah, little like hand sanitizers and all kinds of shit like that. So I think Amazon is putting this store up there. I mean, there are people working, but they're really just there to kind of tell you how it works.
Mhm.
Because when I went in, this is a tiny little store on. She could tell me the street we were on, but you know, not far from like Grand Central. I mean, not that far. It was a little ways away, but I think for the average person who lives in the city, like it's almost like a very good way to, like, you run in, you scan your phone, you go, oh, here's a little sandwich and a drink, and let me grab a yogurt, and all right, and then you walk out of the store and you go back out of your day, and you don't have to stand in a line to pay for shit. Like, I think even if Amazon lost a candy bar a day or even an hour, like, is that affecting their bottom line? I mean,
No.
maybe, but they're not going to see it.
Right.
It's not going to put them in the
Compared to
red.
the amount that they're gonna actually get from each person that goes in there.
Right,
And
and then-
you can move a much higher volume as soon as you're not backing people up at the exit saying, stand here and let me scan this and pay for it.
Right. And then, then say that they get some more higher priced, better ticket items in the store. Go ahead and show me your sleight of hand on a fucking TV. How you doing
Yeah.
that? You're not.
Yeah.
You could back a truck up into the fucking window and try and steal as much shit at one time as you can. But you're better off
but
doing
you'll just
that
get
at
the
like
emailed receipt.
yeah, you're better off doing that at like a fucking Best Buy where they don't have 80 fucking cameras looking at you every 2 feet that you walk.
Yep.
So, I don't know, I thought it was cool. I didn't
do
realize
think
this
it's
was
a
going to
neat
turn
idea.
into its own topic, but shit.
I think it's just as cool as like the all the new orders and all the fast food places going up. Like the more you take people out of it,
The better service you're going to get. I mean, we've learned that. I mean, you and I are in an industry where it's proven, right, that the more consistent and quickest turnaround for something that was originally done by humans is now being done better, more efficiently by machines. That's just, I always use this example, and I will forever use it. If you have one person doing math problems and then a computer doing those same math problems, which one is more likely to mess up first and more frequently? And who will take longer? I've seen like the one guy who could do math in his head like faster than a calculator, but that's one guy.
right?
Calculator, even if it does make a mistake where it gets the little like, oh, 7.3 error fucking bullshit, like that even doesn't happen that often. Like if the computers are driving the cars and the humans are driving other cars, like, I don't know. I don't think the cars will ever crash into themselves.
Yeah.
But the humans might. Well, they will.
And I feel like that's the area that everybody should be concentrating is things that are gonna like take out mortality rates rather than stop shoplifting of candy bars. Stop shoplifting of candy bars. Like totally cool, but Amazon should be working on some kind of black box you can plug into your car that makes it drive itself or something.
Yeah. I mean, they probably will.
I hope so.
Just give us the tubes, man. The tube technology.
The tube technology. You repave my street, put the magnets down.
So I could have a
Maybe zipped
hoverboard.
along.
Guys, I think we made it through another one. It's 3 hours and 7 minutes we went.
I say, I got real sleepy, boy.
Oh, you're fading. I can see it. But yeah, no.
He's twisting.
Dre, when I was in IT, I always use a calculator or any form of the internet when I was trying to solve a problem. Smart, man. Smart.
Smart.
Dre, thanks for hanging out, man. I think we're gonna get out of here. Mike, Pop, what are you thinking? Pop looks like he's about to fall asleep.
I feel like I'm about to fall asleep.
Pop's not gonna make it to the bottom of that T.
It is. Yeah, it's 2:30 a.m. over here on the East Coast of the United States. And we did it, boys. We made it to another one. One more show to go before the year is over.
I think next weekend is either going to be also my last podcast in this apartment
Mm-hmm.
or my first podcast in a new place.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Don't know yet where I'm going to be.
Mike, are you coming here to do it?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I've been talking to 40, and he seems down with the idea. So I just got to.
Yeah, so it might be me, Mike, and 40 from here, and you from either there or somewhere else.
Everybody loves a good mystery. Ooh.
I'm gonna prepare myself for a whole host of new audio problems,
Hell yeah.
cross bleeding and fucking bullshit. So
Oh, I can't wait.
maybe just the three of us use this microphone. I don't know. No, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna end the stream now. And is this gonna I'll play some music? All right.
You tell everybody where to come back to and when?
Oh yeah, so we try to do this around 10ish, but this weekend it was 11. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell
so
everybody.
between 10 and 11.
Between 10 and 11 or 12 or sometime, during 24 hours of a day.
When we get here.
We're gonna be here doing the same thing, and hopefully it keeps on going into the new year. I don't know what is gonna change, but some things are gonna change, but only for the better.
Can't wait.
You can catch me streaming on Twitch though, Mondays and Wednesdays around the same time, 5:30-ish. Still playing that Mr. Mosquito. So I'll be here on this channel. Pop, where can people find you? Besides Twitter.
My Twitch is Pop That Baby Maker.
There it is, right on the screen.
Yeah.
You gonna be streaming anytime soon, you think?
Yeah, I think I'm I don't know. The next week's gonna be rough because I'm moving, but like, I don't have shit to do right now.
Yeah, so you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
Mike, plug in.
Plug in. Yeah. You can find me here on
Yep.
Twitch at Killer Metal Mike. Or go check out the YouTubes where me and my kid take a look at TV, movies, video games. Talk about the divide between the younger kids and us old boomers. Yeah.
Even though you're not a boomer.
Yeah. And yeah, so we got another one. The
Well-
Christmas Eve. So
Your mic cut out in that last one, but you said you got another video coming up, hopefully being released on Christmas Eve.
that's the one.
Mm-hmm. That's YouTube,
So,
a Warp in
Warp
Time.
in Time. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think, wow, and the viewer count goes up now as we get ready to leave. But hey,
Yeah.
that's just the way that it works. We could either start at the beginning and have the same conversations again and fall asleep.
All right,
and
so
we'd
the
listen
new
to 'em.
Xbox.
Yeah.
What do we
Did you
think?
see that PlayStation's putting buttons on the back of their controllers now?
Have you seen these socks?
Ah. I'm gonna buy the socks, the PlayStation buttons.
In the new Xbox.
Well,
The Switch 2.
the Switch Lite XL 3D
I
Labo.
color.
They're just gonna make a Switch Labo where you make a whole Switch out of cardboard
Dude,
and use your imagination to play it.
I do it.
I know.
Guys, look, I'm playing Breath of the Wild too early.
Dude, it comes with a drawing of Fortnite. Mm. All right, guys. That was fun. I'll talk to you guys in 2 seconds when this stream goes off, and everybody else next week or Monday sometime. All right. Peace.
Peace.